Ball. Yeah, signed some balls, and grateful that they were able to hand me the baseball.
What will you do with that?
Got a little collection going on, so I'll just kind of put it with the rest, and hopefully keep hitting some more.
HD webcam coming soon. Working on it. Not today. Tomorrow, probably. I need to update the Elgato software. Kept freezing up with StreamYard. We're getting there, though. Better video, better audio coming soon. HD. I mean, this MacBook is brand new, so it's not bad, but we can always do better, you know? Always looking for ways to improve in every facet of everything. Like the Yankees should be. That's what we're going to probably talk about. You want to know what grinds my gears?
Lost today and lost their series. So far in the season for the Yankees with these straight series losses to their division. 5 series wins and 6 series losses. It is sweet Milwaukee and Kansas City.
All right, coming to me next. Pam first, what up? Will, what up? What? Willie the Stilly, what up? What up? Levi, good to see you again. I got the burps. I got the allergies. I got everything. Hold on.
Sponsored by the New Jersey Division of Travel and Tourism.
That's better.
5-1, a 1.78 ERA, and he's coming off 5 1/3 of 3-run ball against the Giants. That's considered a bad start for him right now. And even in that start, he walked 1 and struck out 9. Got the win. Pavetta has 3 starts already this year of 7 shutouts and 3 hits or fewer in those games. He has been unbelievable. But speaking of incredible, Yankees are.
They said they were keeping him in the game
in the series opener
to play third base. They said with no outs, they were going to give him the shot, more experience, right? I don't know. Volpe wasn't available. We were thinking Volpe was potentially available. Escara had to go to third base. They knew they were going to probably get one shot with Rice. You know, people were screaming for Wells to come in. He did, but not to pinch in. That's why he ended up grounding in a double play. They look at J.C. Escara as a good hitter, a left-handed hitter, and they had 2 other left-handed. I don't know. It wasn't my decision. It wasn't my decision. Thanks, Mike. Do we know what's with Volpe? Something's up with his shoulder. He strained his shoulder. Dalton, what's good, Brody? Ruined Escara's confidence. Boone looking like a fool holding the L. Unfortunate. Yeah, I guess. Sucks. Killed my mood. Would have been a great audition for Rice at third. Hell, when that ball went over Dominguez's head, I'm like, put him in left. Put him in left. Let him figure it out on the fly. But play stupid games, win stupid prizes. That's how it goes. Let me pull this up in the box score so we can go through it. Yorbit Vivas came through there. I guess you can look at it as like, you know, I don't know, man. Jason Dominguez gets the knock to get on. And J.C. Escara is behind the dish. You have Wells available. You have Ben Rice available. Ben Rice is not going to catch. Why did the Mets bring up Tidwell? They felt like he was ready. It was a doubleheader. They gave him an opportunity. Now I lost my train of thought. So they pinch hit Ben Rice for Oswaldo Cabrera. And it doesn't work out. So the thing is, what you're seeing with the Yankees is 2 things. I got the acid indigestion, and that's not good. I need to take something. I don't even know if I have anything. Now I'm gonna get some water.
17 subscribers. How apartments that are called cozy are just.
I'll be right back.
Small.
Spacious is a state of mind.
It's how your friends in Jersey will never visit you.
No, I definitely am not coming.
Nothing surprises a New Yorker like the new monthly scratch-off games from the New York Lottery. Play the ultimate cash scratch-off game today with prizes up to $10 million. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
At Meineke, doing car care right means being able to fix now and pay later. Because with Meineke, fix it now and pay over time with custom finance options available to fit your needs. Meineke's multiple financing solutions are designed to try and cover all credit opportunities, providing customized options for you. See your local Meineke today, and you may be surprised how much they can help. Visit Meineke.com today and schedule an appointment with a locally owned and operated location.
They have 5 pitchers, but Kodai Senga always needs an extra day of rest. Ben, what up, Brody? Oh, let me actually hit my email. I know you sent me something. Yeah, I'm on it right now. Appreciate that. We're about to go live here in a minute. It's funny because like I haven't been on since Thursday. So I start to put together notes after notes after notes after notes. And then the notes it's too much for this show. This is a 2.5 hour show. Yeah, Volpe not in the lineup today. It's just, mucho stupido this game. Very dumb. A lot of dumb stuff going on. And speaking of dumb stuff, my computer is not working right either. My MacBook is not really working right. The bench is trash. We're gonna start with those. We're gonna talk about those things.
But got it in uninterrupted. There were patches of rain and some harder rain as the game were long, affected the conditions on the field.
All right. For the Instagram. Streaming live on the YouTube channel. WFAN, the fan in New York, a little Sunday sauce, KM to 9 p.m. All right, let's turn it up, man. I know everybody's gonna complain about Boone. I'm just like, you can call in and do it. Why is there a bug in here? It starts to get warm and there's bugs popping up. It's foul. All right, here we go. Yeah, and I mean, whatever you guys are thinking, throw that into the chat as well. Yo, what the fuck? Why are there gnats? Why? We're up on the 10th floor, bro. They don't open the windows in here. Why are there bugs in here? What the? All right, let me get the Mets score up too. Trust the real experts. This is WFAN Yankees Radio. Bro, that's what I'm saying. Is there some food underneath this desk? Hi, Shayna. Yeah, we'll talk about it, bro.
on WFAN.
Here, a little Sunday sauce. Not going to take up too much of your time tonight. Keith McPherson on the fan, 888-808-1019. Man, I came here to have a good time. But that Yankee game, that was a waste of time. I think I lost brain cells watching that game. Mucho stupido, a lot of dumb. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I don't even want to talk about it, but I know that's what we're going to do. So dial up, and I'll get in front of it. If you're going to call up and fire Boone and Aaron Boone, like, please spare us. It is what it is. If you just heard the post-game show, you heard Yankees manager Aaron Boone's answer. That's not the decision to not pinch hit Rice or Wells is not what lost them the game. That was a stupid game. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. That's like, first off, look at the lineup. Look at the lineup. I think I said, I haven't been on since Friday, so I have so many things in my notes to go through. We'll start with the Yankees, and hopefully we'll get past it. But I think last time I was on, I said this team, just because of the Jazz injury, I'm like, this team can't afford to lose another everyday starter, everyday player, position player. So Jazz goes on the IL on his jersey night. Damn. And then you end up losing Volpe after the game yesterday. So you're really thin. You're really light. Shout out to you if you went up to Yankee Stadium and got a Giancarlo Stanton Jedi bobblehead, and you were out there from 10 a.m. to now 6 p.m. or whatever it was. But I didn't make the trek up there today. I just kind of knew, because the Yankees are weather affected always. If there is a chance of rain in the forecast, cold in the forecast, there's a chance that the Yankees are just not going to be ready to rock. They are weather affected. If you go and look at the games that they've lost, and it was either cold in the beginning of the year or some rain during the game, there's a direct correlation. 888-808-1019. But, when I say look at the lineup, obviously when the bottom of the Yankees lineup, you go, not even, just Dominguez, Escara, Reyes, Cabrera, Peraza. How did we end up here? May the 4th be with us. It was not. It was certainly with our actual little brothers, the Tampa Bay Rays, who singled, and they just were hitting ground balls. Some plays weren't made. Obviously, they have the fastest player in the history of the game, but that was just a stupid game. And you know that Tampa was excited for it because they play in the Yankee spring training home. So to play in Yankee Stadium in the big ballpark, they always are comfortable here. For years, they've been comfortable here. And you can't have enough pitching. That leads me into my next point. They always have pitching. They always find anybody. And so today, when I see that lineup against Taj Bradley, I'm like, well, I guess this is a scheduled loss. And it didn't need to be. It didn't actually need to be. It didn't have to be. They could have won this game. They rallied. But play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I don't know, ground ball after ground ball after ground ball. You make the guys in the bottom of their order look like heroes. And our guys at times look like zeros. Dominguez taking the wrong route to the ball. Ball goes over his head. Peraza, errors. Didn't Escara have a catcher's interference? There was so many little stupid things in this game. Oh my God, I'm losing brain cells watching. I'm getting mad for no reason. I'm not about to let the Yankees ruin my Sunday. A perfectly good Sunday. We are blessed. I am thankful and all of that. I'm not about to get worked up over another Will Warren start where Will Warren is in over his head. Will Warren, the young guy, it's apparent. It's obvious. He's not what he looked like in spring training, because this is not spring training. And now he's got a lot of starts. Not a lot, but he's got more starts this year than he had last year. And you're starting to see, right, when I said you can't have enough pitching, the Yankees don't have enough pitching. There's a glaring stat out there right now. The Yankees are undefeated with Max Fried starting. They are 3 games under 500 with anyone else starting. They are 7-0 with Max Fried on the mound. They're 12-15 with anybody else anybody else that goes out there and toes the slab. So, man, let's get into it because I just want to start it and get away from it and get off of it. Again, Boone said with no outs, he wanted to stay with JC Escara in that position. Hell, I didn't know Volpe was like when you're watching the game, they show you Volpe's available on the bench. So I'm thinking that he's going to come into the game for, the end of the game. Not even to go back to yesterday. He stayed in after he got hurt because there wasn't that much of the game left, and arguably that decision might have cost us the game. So play stupid games, win stupid prizes. When we're in this position today, I also don't know that JC Escara has the ability to play third base. Newsflash to me. Either way, he said that he wanted to stick with JC there, and with 2 outs, he wasn't going. Of course, he grounds into a double play. That's another thing with the Yankees today, grounding in double plays. And Yorbit Vivas, congratulations. Great moment for you for your first hit, but ultimately nothing else came from it. Ultimately, the efforts were wasted, and it kind of leaves you here scratching your head like, bro, did we just lose a series like that at home to the team renting out our spring training ballpark? These bums. We make the Tampa Bay Rays feel like they're all-stars. Aranda. Nah, how about this guy, Taylor Walls? Like, he got right. He came to Yankee Stadium and got right. Yandy Diaz leaves with 3 hits. I'm not even going to say, like I said, Chandler Simpson, fastest man alive. But, like, that speed wreaks havoc. So I'll let you guys have at it. I'll let you guys get to it. Bruce and Flushing on the Fan. Go for it, Bruce.
Number one, if you remember Thursday night, I said Brian Cashman, Brian right-handed hitter, and next day picked up a right-handed outfielder who's had some power over the last couple of years. So it's nice that Brian listens to the show.
He does. So Brian De La Cruz, I mean, I haven't been on since that move, but like it's a move. I don't know if we'll see him, when we'll see him, but sure. It's one of those, that's a typical Cashman move, a little move around the margins.
Right. Second point, I'm not going to go crazy over this. I'm not going to say fire Aaron Boone, but his excuse did not make sense in the post-game show. All he had to do was put Wells instead of Escara. And his reasoning, well, I had a pinch hit for Cabrera. No, you didn't.
No, I know. And Wells came in right after, and that's what I was saying. I don't know, man.
I mean, this is a reason why Yankee fans, sometimes myself, and other ones say Boone has very bad baseball instincts, even though his daddy and granddaddy all came from a baseball family. A normal manager would have pinch hit up Wells for him.
Yeah. No, and yes, I think that's why most of us are scratching our head, kind of upset, kind of mad, because you had the opportunity. It looked like we were about to get it done there. And like I said, I guess they have faith in Escara because he's a hitter. He's a known hitter, but not really like I don't know.
He's 193.
Yeah.
I'm tired of watching this picture pitch. Yeah, he's a young guy. Yeah, he can do this and that and some bad breaks. Bottom line, he's not ready. So I'm going to propose a trade for you. And this trade is not necessarily a panic move, but I think a well thought out move. We've been bad this season because we need pitching. Philly has no bullpen. Dombrowski knows Williams is a proven product. You trade Williams for John Walker, the ex-Met. He has 2 years to go at $18 million. So you tell Philly, pick up $10 million, and we'll give you your hook.
Maybe. They didn't even sniff him 2 years ago when he was a free agent, when he was very available. They didn't even talk to him, I don't think. So now with the money that he did get.
That's the message.
Yeah, I think they're going to call up Alan Winans before they actually do that. And they also love Devin Williams. They went to get him, and they're going to keep working on him and get him right. Thanks for the call, Bruce. They're not trading Devin Williams. They just traded for him a couple months ago. It sucks, but it is what it is. This is a makeshift. Like, even, you know what else is stupid about this game? Carlos Cookie Carrasco ends up in this game. I'm like, I know we got to save the bullpen for the San Diego Padres series. We might get waxed. The Padres are good. And, I mean, they like coming to the Yankee Stadium. They've got some star players. Michael King of New York is about to return. Ah, boy. See, this is what happens. You got the best hitter in the game, and Judge keeps his streaks going. But that's not enough. That's not enough. You lose Jazz, you lose Volpe, and ain't it funny how fans were just coming for both of those players? Jazz and Volpe can't be in the lineup together. Now they're not in the lineup at all. Jazz, he strikes out too much. Yeah, he's not hitting. Well, he's gone. Volpe, Volpe, the DFA Volpe. He hasn't been good enough, even though Volpe turned the corner right before he just suffered an injury. Hopefully he's available tomorrow. They're saying that he's potentially going to be in the lineup tomorrow. Hopefully, another day of rest works for him, and he's a young guy, and hopefully he can heal up. But yeah, other than that, man, it's the pitching. You can't have enough pitching. And right now, Clark Schmidt got scratched yesterday. Shout out to Ryan Yarborough, this year's Michael Tonkin. Like I said, when he first came through, like Michael Tonkin last year, didn't want anything to do with the guy. Now I see his worth and his value, and I don't know. They have to figure this out. We're not waiting on Luis Gil to return, right? When is that? Next month? We're still in first place. You can look at the standings and say that, right? The Boston Red Sox seem like they're not really they win some, they lose some, and then Tampa is in third place. So honestly, the division is. The Yankees should have the Yankees are struggling to get their 20th win. The Yankees should have 24, 25 wins. Billy is in Westchester County, New York. You just got to laugh at it. You got to laugh at the pain. You got to laugh it off. It's stupid. That was mucho stupido today.
How you doing, Keith? Hope all's well. Keith, listen, we can't fix Will Warren and Carrasco anymore. It's time for desperate measures right away, within a week. Like you said, the Padres are going to come in. They might sweep them. You got to go to teams that are out of it. You can't wait till the trade deadline. Trade deadline will be done. Because Schmidt's no Bob Gibson either. So, we got to make a move. How about Miami? They're eight.
I mean, everybody has said Sandy Alcantara, but they're gonna take they're gonna take the best offer they could get, and they're gonna wait on that. And Cashman waits till the deadline to make moves like that anyway. I know you said it can't wait, but they're gonna.
It's going to be too late, Keith. It's going to be too late. I want to ask you something else. So Volpe, Dominguez, right? They both don't look, think about what we could have had with those guys when they were coming off the farm system. Every time one Cashman, there was a trade possible, Cashman right away said, no, untouchable. Volpe's untouchable. Dominguez is untouchable. Think of the players. Forget about Volpe, he doesn't even look close to Witt, and there's some other shortstops he doesn't look close to. But not saying he's a bad player or good, but look what they could have got for these guys.
Well, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No. Talk the table. Don't even talk about it.
Thanks for the call, Bill. It's in the past, and it's a philosophy thing, right? They had been burned by some of these big contracts in the past. They literally, Hal Steinbrenner came out and told you when they, had the beard policy meeting or announcement that I don't feel like you need to, have the highest payroll to build a good team. So it's a philosophy of homegrown talent, right? Developing prospects and letting them emerge and giving them a leash. And you've seen that with Volpe. You're seeing that somewhat with Dominguez, not so much with Dominguez. That's another thing about the lineup today, right? With this home stretch, this home stand, I understand. I get giving Judge the DH day. But I gotta have Ben Rice in the lineup. Ben Rice isn't just one of the best hitters on your team. Ben Rice has been one of the best hitters in the division, in the American League. It's the rubber match. It's the rubber match. And then, with the emergence of Trent Grisham, I had a video I put out the other day about Grisham has been so good. It seems like now we've found a leadoff hitter with speed, and he's an everyday center fielder. And that changes the plan for Cody Bellinger. Congrats, Cody Bellinger, on your 200th home run. But ultimately, man, they were doomed from the start. from the line of construction facing Taj Bradley and who the Yankees put on the mound today. Will Warren for 4 2/3. You know, some more dumb stuff. Like he has a career high 8 strikeouts. Congrats, congrats on the career high. 7 hits, 5 runs, 3 earned, and you're in a hole. You know that game was over when it was 5-0. But at least they did show us some fight. Steve is in Holmdel, New Jersey. Go for it, Steve. You got it.
Hey, Keith, how you doing? Yeah, as far as Will Warren is concerned, he's facing basically a AAA lineup today. But you can understand why he would have trouble against a AAA lineup. When the Yankees brought him up last year from AAA, the guy had an ERA of 5.65. So,
Yeah.
So I wonder what makes him such a wonderful prospect. Second of all, we keep hearing about he's a young guy. Guess how old he'll be in 1 month?
26.
26. Last time I checked, 26 is not a young prospect. If this guy was any good, he would have been in the major leagues 3 years ago. Now, real quick.
They're going to say, you know what they're going to say. Like, they're going to keep him up here. There's no other options. He needs a little more seasoning. Clearly, like, he needs to be able to work on his command and his control at AAA. I don't know, man. It is what it is. We don't have any other options.
Let me tell you one other thing, because this is a very subtle thing, how he got into trouble earlier today. Clearly, it seemed like Boone was waving the white flag between starting Will Warren, which, of course, it's his turn, and the fact that that bottom of the lineup was ridiculous. But here's the thing, okay? They think that AAA players are great. They never want to trade them. But once they come up, they don't play them. Vivas played. If you look at Vivas' numbers in the minors, he was not striking out. He was hitting. He was doing very well. He played 2 games this weekend. A righty is pitching. Vivas is hitting lefty, but he starts Reyes. But then he uses Vivas as a pinch hitter for Reyes. Vivas should have just been playing the game, and then at the end, they could have had Reyes to go in later on, and then they would have been able to pinch hit well. I don't understand what he's doing. One other thing, the Martian, okay? The Martian. Fact of the matter is, he's a subpar left fielder. If you're going to be a switch hitter, you can't be hitting 200 points higher lefty than righty. You might as well just bat lefty and call it a day. Now, was he any good in the minors batting righty? I mean, we got Spencer Jones in the minor leagues in Double-A, who looks like he's going to be the next Joey Gallo, and he'll be 25 by the time he comes up. The Yankees just overrate their prospects. Name me one guy. Ben Sprice has been a wonderful surprise. Name me the last time a top Yankee prospect, other than Judge, has come up and played up to what they regarded him as in the minors. It never happens. Volpe has a 2-strike approach of close your eyes and swing as hard as you can. Jazz, he's just up there hacking. It's just too much to watch, and I'm just tired of.
Thanks for the call, Steve. I was letting you run there. A lot of times I wait till you guys say something that I completely disagree with, or I got to stop you right there. At least you threw Judge in with the prospects. And, I don't know what to tell you, man. They're in first place. But, that seems like that can evaporate with one bad week, and we could walk into the bad week right now with the Padres at home. 888-808-1019. We'll keep talking through it. Like I said, as I was watching this game today, and I was putting my notes together for this show, I'm like, I don't even want to talk about this stupid game. This is a dumb one. What are we watching? I quit. I quit on that game 4 different times. But we'll talk about it at least for the next 25 minutes. Keith McPherson on the Fan. Dial up. We'll go through it, and we just got to flush the game in series. But doesn't that grind your gears? It doesn't have to be this way against the poverty Tampa Bay Rays. Don't go anywhere. We're coming right back. You got to win series in your building with all of your fans in attendance It's got to be better. The pitching is not good enough. The lineup's not good enough. It's frustrating. But hello, chat. Now I'm in the chat. Get the mic out of here. And we'll go back to what we were talking about here. A lot of people in the chat. I'm going back up. Purple Moon Dogs put a lot of messages in the chat. Purple Moon Dogs, so many messages in the chat from Twitter. I'm trying to scroll through those. That's why there's so many messages. I couldn't respond to anything. Now the Yankees got to depend on Rodon to be the stopper. That's exactly how it goes every time, right? All right, here we go. This is where we were. Sending Keith an antacid care package. I just popped one of those acid reducers. Now I'm straight, right? Now I'm good. I'm not like before I came here, I made breakfast. I just was like, I didn't eat actual breakfast today, and I was in the mood for like eggs. I made a pork roll, egg and cheese wrap with some tater tots in it. Boston. But then I was like, matter of fact, let me hit the water. Metsies are on. And that ball is out of here. Who's that? Alec Burlickson with a 2-run blast to put the St. Louis Cardinals up 2-0. 2-zip Cards over Mets. All right, what else? I'd also like to know why Reyes is even starting over Vivas against a righty. Felt like a punt. I'm gonna tell y'all, and I'm gonna come back to that one, bro. I'm gonna leave that. And we're gonna come back to that because the caller was talking about that seniority, and he might be on his way out, yo. He might be on his way out. That's what they do. That is what the Yankees do. They play games like that for seniority, where they'll be like, go with a veteran, and this guy could be DFA'd. He could be dropped soon. So, do I see Cashman adding another bat before the deadline? Bro, these bugs in here bugging me out. Pun intended. Where'd it go? Okay, right here. Cashman, if you pay attention to his moves, he will act early in the season like he did last year with John Birdie coming out of spring training, going into opening day. And then he will wait to act until the buzzer is about to sound. I just don't see him making a move right now to impact this team in the first week of May. Vivas is about to get some run at second for real. Yeah, with working what he has though, go with your best. And yes, we as Yankee fans, this is what we do. 162 one-game seasons. The season ended today for a lot of Yankee fans. There are a lot of Yankee fans pissed off right now. They're on the phone. I already played 3 calls. Yeah, I hate Taylor Walls too. Like, he's a bum, but we made him look like an all-star today. Yeah, Mets have struggled some too. I'm gonna wait to speak on the Mets a bit. I think I'm gonna come back and give the update here that they, just went down 2-0, because that's not looking great in itself. It's hard to sweep a doubleheader, but I'll talk about it when we get back. I'll keep this Yankees, and then you'll hear me talk some Mets when we get back. New York baseball fans have to chill. Both teams are the top of their divisions. I know the Yanks loss was stupid, but it's May 4th. Yeah, but Got it. So my producer just said we're back in a minute. So it's 6:40. We'll be back 6:41, and I got a break by 6:55. So play along at home. Um, so what did you say back? Nothing yet? I didn't see it. We lit. Saturday, I think I'm doing the show. If you find it before 9:00 and it's something I gotta read, no. Okay, like something Zach programmed? Okay. Okay. Coming back now. 6:41. Anything you guys want me to speak on the radio, drop in the chat. But yes, Fanatics Fest, that's Saturday, I think June 21st, tentatively. But I don't know. I'll be there probably all 3 days. Say that again. All right, he's on the phone now. Pork roll. I'm about to talk about it right now. You can chime in if you'd like. Let people know you're here. New York, New York. So nice they named it twice. Gave us 2 baseball teams. Keith McPherson on the fan. We were talking about the Yankees, but during the break in my chat and with Rami Lavi, we were just talking about the Make It Happen Mets. It's hard to sweep a doubleheader, but right now the Cardinals have taken the first step to doing so. Alec Burleson with a 2-run blast to put the Cards up 2-zip over the Mets right now. And the Mets, I thought the Mets, as I was listening to the game earlier, I thought the Mets were about to rally. It had Make It Happen Mets written all over it. I thought the Mets were about to come back and take that first one. But I know there's some Mets fans that might be as mad as the Yankee fans are with the game today. The debut of young Blade Tidwell. He is still young at 23. It was going all right until it wasn't. But yeah, we'll get into the Mets in a little bit. I was kind of waiting for this game to get going some. And I really, like I said, I haven't been on since Thursday, and I had things in my notes, and I was going to talk about Pete Alonso, but we need Pete Alonso to be the savior maybe again today. Nimmo has returned to his all-star form a little bit. What can you say about young Luis Angel Acuna? Pelotero, he's a young baller. He's got to be in the lineup. But again, it goes to the pitching. Can't have enough pitching. And you know what? We're just, as fans, we live and die with these games. 162 one-game seasons. Like, I just was joking in the chat. And I'm like, there are some Yankee fans right now pissed off. I'm like, you just heard some of them. I played 3 or 4 calls. Like, we're going to keep playing calls. They're pissed off because you want more. And when it's there, like I said, the Yankees should have like 22, 23 wins right now. They're struggling to get to the 20th win with these last 2 games, and you just get mad as a fan because you manage the team in your head. You're the general manager and manager in your head, and it's like, this is what I would have done. This is the lineup I would have put together. Why does this guy need rest? I thought this guy was available. Why would you go with this guy? And then, shout out to Mike in my chat. Mike Stroh said, I'd also like to know why Reyes is even starting over Villas against a righty. This felt like a punt. And I'm like, they claim they don't punt. There are no punt lineups. And why would you be punting with the division rival in your building and the series on the line? What it is, and this is what I think, they always lean on veterans. They always lean on seniority. And to me, that I don't get that. Lean on, I think Yorbit Vivas is a better option. We've seen Pablo Reyes not be good. It's not spring training. From Will Warren to Pablo Reyes to even Cody Bellinger, not to knock Cody because he did homer, but spring training is over. So the data that we collected from down there in Tampa, home of the Tampa Bay Rays now, all of that is out the window. And Yorbit Vivas is here. He's going to get some run. He's going to get some opportunity. But yeah, that's Pablo Reyes being a 31-year-old Major League Baseball player versus a young Yorbit Vivas literally making his debut this weekend. 888-808-1019. Steve is in Hicksville, New York on the fan next. Hello, Steve.
Big fan. I called you, but not recently. The last two, talk about the Yankees. The last two games are rough to watch. I'm not quite as angry and frustrated as the previous callers. A little frustrated. I mean, obviously you called out the Reyes move, which was, head scratcher. What I want to talk about is, I understand, first of all, the comment about the rookies. I disagree with the previous callers. I think these rookies are young. They just need a little more time, get a little more confidence, maybe put them, maybe alter them in the lineup a little differently. You can make some other changes to help build their confidence. Rice should have played today. Bellinger should be lower in the lineup until he finds a swing. I mean, it was nice to see him hit a home run today, but he's either hit or miss. I just think the management, if you're going to ask me where the real problem here is, it's the manager. I think he's just making really strange management decisions, leaving guys in when they shouldn't, as you said, playing age over youth. I just don't understand. This was a rubber game they should have won, and the game was right there for them. So yes, I'm frustrated, but it's a young season now in first place. I mean, look, I'm thankful for where we are.
See, there's some positivity, or at least like level-headedness. Thanks for the call, Steve. It sucks to lose, but they're still in first place. They still have Judge, who is playing at a ridiculous level. I mean, I feel like when people say we take Judge for granted, it's not even that we take Judge for granted. It's just like he's so good. What else can we add? Like the stat that they had about Judge just put together the first month of the season that had never been done before. Like how many times he was on base, his total bases. Like he's breaking the game. Like there's nothing else to really add about Judge besides, hey, if this is just the first month, and fingers crossed this guy stays healthy and wins another MVP and powers us to October, because it looks like we're going to need to get on Judge's back a bit here because there's so many other little flaws and now injuries are starting to come into play. Help him out. Like make some moves, put the best guys around him, tweak the lineup. Some guys in the rotation are going to help him out. If Judge, it can't be Judge. Like that's what pissed me off about the game yesterday. When Judge starts us off with a homer like that, the rest of y'all got to follow up. Like when Judge is dialed in to start the game and gives us an early pop, you got to follow up. I feel like didn't that happen on the road? That was the second time in a week that Judge homered early, and they didn't follow up. I'm blanking on it. Oh, in Camden Yards. So it's like, I don't know. It can't just be, Judge MVP on his own sometimes. Like, and I know Goldie has been great. I know we've gotten little bits and pieces here, but ultimately it's a team sport. It's a whole team. And the team is managed and generally managed. And they managed to blow this one. They found a way to blow this one against a Tampa Bay Rays team that I am not impressed with at all. There's no reason to I give them props as an organization for what they do with finding players in their pitching. But like I said today, we made their lineup look like an all-star team lineup. They had their way. 16 hits and like just ground balls. Aranda left the building, but I don't know. I'd find myself looking at them like, okay, they run, but that's what they do. I was listening to Susan talk about it. Like they put the ball in the play and they increase their chances of getting lucky. And when you have an infield that you've played with for the first time in a different batting order, like you get got in your own building. Richard in Manhattan back on the fan. Hello, Richard.
Hi, Keith. Keith, the Yankees at this point have the MVP on their roster, and they have the Cy Young Award winner on their roster. By the way, Freed would be 7-0 if he got credit for that win when they scored 20 runs 5 Saturdays ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, that game he only went 400. So if they have both those guys, and they are 3 games ahead of Tampa, that is unbelievable. That means with all this going on with Aaron Judge and Max Reed, that's all we can muster is 3 games. They have 1/5 of our payroll. 1/5. Their stadium is 1/4 the size of our stadium. And we are only 3 games. There's something wrong here. They got to start waking up. I might have to spend more money because this is unacceptable. The injuries are coming. They don't have enough backups. All these guys we heard that's supposed to be so good, they're not panning out. The only one who's panned out, Fried and Goldschmidt. That's it. Other than that, we're not getting quality play from these new guys, and they're going to have to do something because Judge ain't going to keep hitting 430.
Right.
Fried ain't going to go 24-0.
Right. It's a good start, but exactly that's what I'm saying. You got to back these guys up. They're playing at an all-pro, award-winning level.
I mean, well, it's not all pro. Otherworldly. Nobody's ever done what these two guys have done. Now, it's only 22% of the season, but nobody's done this for this long. 7-0 in his 7 starts. Look at his ERA and look at what Judge is.
Masterful. Fried is masterful. And
Judge, by the way, we neglected him. He's been great. So I can't say that.
But like that's why like Ben Rice has to be in the lineup every time you can get him in the lineup. I know Stanton is on the way back, but like put the best hitters in the lineup.
Good luck, because we're running out of some luck here, and this was a disgrace this weekend. And I think the other night, what I would have done, I know it didn't affect anything Friday night. I would have left Williams in for the 9th inning, let him close. He pitched a great 8th inning, which is good. And I understand, and then they used Weaver, so now they didn't use Weaver yesterday, and they didn't use either today, right?
He was warming up if need be, wasn't needed.
But I'm saying, why not keep Williams in? He only threw 8 pitches in the 8th. Give him the 9th. It's a 3-run.
I got to counter with that, and thanks for the call, Richard. You got to slow play Devin Williams. And I talked about Devin Williams pitching in Yankee Stadium particularly. There are some people still ready to boo his ass. There are some people ready to jump all over the guy. You got out the way you got out, great. And you know what? We needed Luke Skyweaver. We needed them to do his whole Star Wars entrance and fire up the stadium. The stadium was cracking that night. That was a Jazz Chisholm jersey giveaway. Stadium was like really turned up for like a Friday night in the Boogie Down Bronx where Max Fried goes out there and shoves like that. Like that's another thing too about the vibes and the energy that I talk about with who's on the mound. Damn, I wish Garrett Cole, why did it have to be now? I knew it was inevitable, it seemed, from last year to this year, but like, could you imagine if they had Cole in this rotation? You could figure it out with the rest of these guys. But like Fried has taken over the like Cole Day vibe. Like when I get to the stadium and I link with the homies and it's Garrett Cole Day, hey, Cole Day, Cole World, Cole Day, Cole on the mound, Cole Train. That's what it's turned into for Fried Day on a Friday. And you just have a belief. The Yankees have a belief. And then, like I said, he's so masterful out there. Everybody knows what's going down. He goes 7 innings, 1 hit, 6 Ks. I needed 1 more K for the parlay, but it is what it is. But then when Will Warren is on the mound, you just know, hey, this is a young guy figuring it out. He doesn't have his location. He's got to throw the fastball right down the middle of the plate to get the straight. That ball gets hit out. He's falling victim to just soft contact. It is what it is. Same thing with Carlos Carrasco, who now you expect, right, when we look ahead to this Padres series, Carlos Carrasco came in today, where that's what I was saying. This was just a dumb game. This was a game that I'm watching, and my son took his nap and he woke up and he wanted to watch Gecko's Garage, aka Gecko's Garage, for all the people out there that have kids that watch things on YouTube. And I let him have the big TV. I'm like, you got it, bro. My wife even laughed. I'm sitting there watching the Yankees on my phone eating before. I'm like, I don't even care about this game. I don't even want to talk about this game. But here we are. Alan is in New Hyde Park on the Fan. Go for it, Alan, while I look up the pitching matchups on deck for this Padres series.
Keith, how you doing? Thanks for taking the call. We've spoken a few times. You might know who I am. Couple of things. First of all, I went last night. I got the Yankee home dinner, so I had a great chance. I met Dave Sims, Ricky Ricardo, and one of your coworkers.
One day I'm gonna get an invite. That looks like a lot of fun. One day I'm gonna make my way up to get an invite.
I spoke to Mark earlier about it, and I had a great time. And then I spoke to Boone. I'm not a Boone guy, so I wasn't going to put him down or anything. But I don't do that. I don't think it'll be the right thing to do. I know the call it. I'm not a Boone has too many errors in my book. I also heard that's why I got on the phone. I also got rid off the game at 5-0 myself. I think it was getting out of hand in some ways. Tell me a couple of things here. Dominguez, the Martian. I mean, he should have caught that ball. He should have caught that ball, and that would have changed the game.
Yeah, I don't know what the catch probability was, but on the broadcast, they're like he didn't get back to the wall. He kind of got twisted up.
Yeah, well, that's kind of my call with you. I know you're. I know you're. I was telling the producer. I know you're a Yankee fan. I'll get back to that. I know you're a Dallas Cowboy guy.
Kind of.
Devils fan, and then Nets.
Yeah.
It's kind of odd.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I didn't know I would be a radio host on WFAN, the fan in New York. I just started watching and rocking with whatever teams, you know.
Kind of odd. You have really an odd combo, but it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
But listen, the Yankees. I know you keep and the host keep saying they're first place team. Well, it's only May the 4th. It's only May.
For now, I'm kind of saying it facetiously, like they're in first place for now.
No, they're putting out a minor league team. Like the batting order today, Peraza's not a major league hitter. Dominguez every now and then runs into one. We don't know Volpe's problems here and there. Chisholm is on the DL, and he's really been swinging like he's just trying to golf the ball out of the stadium. The number 90 they brought up. I don't really know much about this guy, but they're just putting out a minor league team from 7, 8, 9 in the batting order, and sometimes 6. Let me ask you a question. Right. I forget. Does he field lefty or right?
I think he's a right-handed glove, but he's a left-handed bat. Thanks for the call, Alan. Sorry, we're just up against it. It goes back to roster construction and Yankee fans saying we need a bat, a right-handed bat. Where's DJ LeMahieu? He's working on coming back. Will they get a bat? I don't know. When we come back, we'll talk about the Padres series and who's pitching and how it's going to line up. First hour down, 2 more hours to go. Keith McPherson on the Fan. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. I was looking for the pitching matchup. I forgot about the 55. I'm ready. I'm ready today. It can't be that bad. Because not for nothing, we've seen Cabrera throw a ball over the first baseman's head 3 times this year. They all boot balls. Exactly. So if I can live with him booting a baseball, but him hitting a ball to section 204, I can live with that. The Mets have come back to tie it up. Yeah, we'll okay, now they just actually went up 3-2. We'll talk about it when we come back, and I'll kind of set the stage for. Yeah. Last year they had him and didn't use him. Yeah, that's right. He was here and went right back down. Yeah, it's stupid. Why not see what he has? Yeah, we'll talk. Hold this. You and I gonna have the same conversation on air. Sheesh. All right, chat. Let me see what y'all are saying in the comments and whatnot. It's bound to happen at least a couple times around this game. Sure. Robin says, stressful, bruh. Yeah, I already told you. I'm from the shore. It's pork roll. I live up here now where they say Taylor Ham, but Taylor Ham is a company that makes pork roll. The delicacy is pork roll. I get shop brand pork roll. It does not say shop brand Taylor Ham. It says ShopRite brand mild, tangy, thick sliced pork roll. Come on, I'll rest my case. The Mets' upcoming series with the Diamondbacks will not be easy. Diamondbacks won the last series at Citi Field and Yankee Stadium, and they have legit hitters, pitchers, and a good manager. And if they did not play in that division, if they didn't already have to face the Cubs, the Yankees, they've played all really good teams, they'd have a better record. Yanks rotation needs a lot of work. Of course it does. Now it's starting to show you're not going to be able to get by with what you got. All right, let me see what the Metsies are doing here. So in this inning, the Mets have put up 4 runs. They've stormed back. Starts off with a Lindor single. Of course, Juan Soto grounds into a force out. But then the polar bear paid Pete. He's been money. Cashes in. I'm going to say all this on air. I'm kind of rehearsing as I'm looking at the box score. Vientos walks. Nimmo strikes out. But Starling Marte singles on a line drive to right center. Pete Alonso scores. Juan Soto scores. Mets go up 3-2. And then just now, Francisco Alvarez singles on a ground ball to right fielder Jordan Walker. Mark Vientos scores. The Mets are up 4-2. Made it happen all in the third inning. 34 doubleheaders since 2021, swept only in 3. That's the Mets. Is that a real thing? Is that the Mets record? Yanks got to make a splash. Yeah, but the deadline is damn near August. I think it is. MLB trade deadline date. It's July 31st at 6 p.m. That's August. We just got into May. Can we survive May, June, July? Hi, Keith. It was dope to meet you on Friday. Jack from Sea Caucus here. Yanks got to get it together. As Boone says, it's right and free. For real. Stadium was turned up Friday, pregame to postgame. Hell yeah, it was a good time. Just got the update. George Lombard Jr. promoted to Double-A. Is there a world where the Yankees fast track him for this year? Nah, but we'll mention that. We'll come back with some of that. And I'll tap on Rami to talk about Yorbit Vivas and Ben Rice. That's not his fiance, is it? All right. I'm gonna go back to and we're back. And the Mets are back. As the little bit of Mets conversation I sprinkled in, I just wanted to keep giving props and praise to the polar bear. Paid Pete Alonso. He's done it again. And I said I was going to wait to lean into that till he, makes it happen in this game we're watching in here live. Keith McPherson on the fan. My boy Rami is doing the button pressing behind the glass. We are watching this Met game, the second part of a doubleheader. The Mets go up 4-2. They make it happen all in the third inning. So the inning starts, and it is Francisco Lindor. Usually brings the right vibes, energy, leadoff hitter, gets the party started with a single. The generational Juan Soto, $765 million, he grounds into a force out. But who comes up right after him? Another big money man, new money, paid Pete Alonso, cashes in. A single to put the Mets on the board. Tyrone Taylor scores, and Mark Vientos walks. Nimmo strikes out. Marte is next to hit a single. Mark Vientos to third. Pete Alonso scores. Juan Soto scores. Francisco Alvarez comes up. More small ball. just knocks, single, single, single. Francisco Alvarez, single, and the Mets go up 4-2. Luis Angel Acuna grounds out. And here we are now in the bottom of the third, keeping an eye on the Mets. And we'll talk about where the Mets are at some point with their lineup, with their decisions on pitching and players, and Kodai Senga and where they are. But I said two things. One, when we come back, we'll look at the Yankees and how they're going to line up their pitching against the Padres. I'm scared. Yeah, I'm scared of this series because, like, not for nothing, and I saw the Stanton interview like 3 times today. It has been planted in my brain that Stanton told the Yankees, and it got out to the public, that we don't get swept at home. Remember that? When we were facing the Diamondbacks early in the season, and they avoid the sweep, and the narrative after the game was, oh, yeah, Big G gave a speech to the team, and he said, we don't get swept at home. I'm like, what are you talking about? The Reds swept us here last year. I've been to sweeps at home. That's cap. I'm like, what happens if we get swept this year? What happens if the Mets sweep the Yankees at home this year? I'm like, keep that quiet, but you can't keep it quiet. I just brought it back to the surface. Anyway, the Yankees didn't get swept here, but they lose 2 to the Tampa Bay Rays. That, like, it didn't need to happen. They could have won the game yesterday. This game should have went differently today. And we were talking about Ben Rice, because now, when Ben Rice doesn't play in favor, there are other guys in the lineup. And I know Judge needs the rest day or whatever, but like that whole game, I'm like, when do we get Ben Rice involved? When do we get Ben Rice in this game? And obviously you can only use him for one pop because he can't play a position. And so Rami and I were talking during the break about a couple of things, because the last caller that we had, asked, what hand does he catch with and throw with? I'm like, he's a lefty hitter, but I think he's right-handed. I'm not sure, but I think that's correct. I'll have to pull up Ben Rice's baseball reference. But either way, like, we're at the point now, like today, I was saying, after the ball went over Dominguez's head, I'm like, hell, why can't Ben Rice figure out how to play left field? How many times have I seen Cabrera already airmail the ball from third to first? He bats left and throws right-handed. So I'm like, why can't we start the process? If Stanton is coming back, right? Stanton is on camera. Stanton is working. He said he's working his way back. It's pending. There's your right-handed power bat, but you don't want to lose Ben Rice. Why don't we just start having him take reps at third base right now? Why not right now? While you're missing your middle infielders, I don't know. Maybe they really feel like he can't play the position. I'm not sleeping on the kid. And I'm looking for solutions. I'm looking for things to figure out, because it's not a solution to me to play Pablo Reyes. And I know he can play in the outfield and play different positions. Like, we have a couple utility guys. Like, think about the Yankees right now, between Cabrera, who can play multiple positions, but it's like, I think he's actually the best out of all of them. And of course, they pinch hit for him today. Cabrera, I probably feel the most confident in. And then I don't have any confidence in Peraza, who can play second, who can play short, who can play third, but is not really going to hit. And then Pablo Reyes, I don't really care to see Pablo Reyes. He might be gone. That might be another reason why they gave him the nod. Rami, we were just talking about Yorbit Vivas, and like, I remember him coming up last year for like a day, and we didn't even see him. And then you just reminded me.
He's come up in his career, and the first time he's played, and even still, they're reluctant to play him. They played him Friday night. They don't play him again today, but they pinch hit him. Like, what are we doing at this point? If he's hitting 350 in the minors, keep it.
If he's here, I'd rather see what he has. I know what Pablo Reyes is. I've seen enough of Peraza at this point. I'd rather give this young guy a shot, and they gave him a shot today, and he had a moment, right? That changeup comes in, he hits it, gets his first major league hit, scores some runs. I don't know. Either way, you know what it is. It's a loss. It's a series loss. It's a little disappointing. It's not the end of the world. But these shows are daily and nightly, and that's why we do this. And you can talk, and we can talk all through it. Everything from, like, why is Yorbit Vivas not starting, and why isn't Ben Rice potentially trying to find another position, and why is this guy here, and what are they going to do with the rotation? We're about to see Alan Winans, and they're about to probably send Will Warren down. I don't know.
You're looking at a Tampa team that you can name maybe half the roster. If you're real in a deep fantasy baseball league, you probably can name the whole roster, but still, it's guys not making a ton of money. And you look at the Yankees, it's like, well, we kind of have the same thing going on outside of the couple of big names. It's the depth is where they're getting killed right now.
Bro, they rolled Travis Jankowski out there. Mets fans know him.
Like you said, Walls earlier had a big series, but again, he's not a household name. The kid that was stealing base every time he got on base, I hadn't heard of him before last week.
Chandler Simpson? No, I've heard of him just because his speed, and he's a black player, and I think he's a Q. Like he's been percolating. They've been talking about him coming up for a long time. Not a long time, but at least for the last 2 years, he's been on my radar because he's so fast. Like his speed, he's beating out infield ground balls like more than half the time. He is stealing. He's going when so like think about how that impacts the game. If he can put bat to ball, and I think he just started off. I'm sure if I search Twitter, he just started off his major league career with some type of a record or milestone. Like he hit on in like consecutive games or something. Like he's gonna be a problem. He already is a problem. He's a problem for the Yankees. Like he is a problem because he can hit a little dribbler into the infield and he's beating it out like 80% of the time. And then once he's on first, he's going every time. Also in center field, like that ball Judge hit the other night, Friday night, that got over his head. But like he's fast enough to track down everything out. Like he's a blazer.
The Rays are finding and developing these guys. The Yankees are not, and it becomes very noticeable in a series like this where you have to play your depth pieces.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. So like they call him the fastest man in baseball. He had 104 stolen bases in 110 minor league games, and they knew he was going to be a problem. They knew he was on the way. Like I said, Friday night that ball got over his head, but I think that might have just been. I think that was his first time playing in Yankee Stadium, and those lights are hella bright, and it's Judge, and it got lost up there. In the chat, Jack says, Keith, it was dope to meet you Friday night. Jack from Secaucus. Yanks got to get it together. Like Boone says, it's right in front of us. Stadium was turned up Friday night, pregame to postgame. I just got the update. George Lombard Jr. has been promoted to Double-A. Is there a world where the Yankees fast track him for this year? Jack, no, sir. Nice meeting you as well, but no, there is no world where, and we shouldn't. We shouldn't have to. We shouldn't have to think about George Lombard Jr. Again, I said the spring is over. The spring is the spring. We're not in the spring anymore. George Lombard Jr. needs to continue to work and marinate and get more seasoning and become. He is the future. The future is not soon. I don't think. Moose in Jamaica on the fan. Hello, Moose. You're.
May the force be with you.
It was not. It was not with us at all. I didn't go up there to get that bobblehead. I had a bad idea about what was going on. I'm like, the rain, they're always affected by the rain. I'm like, this is going to be a stupid day today. I did not go.
I ain't mad at you, dog. Anyway, for what it's worth, I'm not necessarily worried. I did some quick math from, 8th grade math, proportional math. Figured out mathematically we're still on pace to win exactly 90 games. So another loss in May as opposed to a win in June and then a loss in August, and then we clinched the playoffs in September. You know how it goes in baseball, sort of drag on that it's becoming live and die with every game. But, you know, we can't necessarily be mad. Like, once again, 3/5 of our rotation, Stanton not knowing if he's coming back next week or June or whatever the case may be. But what's encouraging from the game I saw today was when they put in a lower leverage reliever, the Yankees didn't necessarily mail it in. It's just that, you know, Scour couldn't come up with a productive out or productive at bat that kind of killed the rally. Good that Jordan Vivas got his first hit in salvage. I'm excited for him. He seems like a good bench piece. He seems like a quality left-handed bat once he gets more seasoning, but you wonder if he's going to be one of these flash in the pan prospects that don't pan out because he doesn't get enough playing time in the bigs. But to switch to other topic I want to talk to you about, and hope all is well with your kid and your wife and you're adjusting to your new abode, wherever it is in New Jersey and stuff. For the Knicks fans out there, to pick up on the numbers, I did some deep diving and well, not deep, but some look at what the Boston Celtics do. Because I mean, everybody, including me, I think it could end in 5 Boston win. But if the Knicks steal game 1 or game 2, and obviously hold home court in the series, they can win in 6 decisively because they have 4 guys that can get 20 or more points a game, get their own shot. And the defense that Boston plays is not as physical and as aggressive as Detroit.
Thanks for the call, Moose. I just we're not there yet, and I'm just I know you guys are gonna call up the fan tonight and tomorrow before we get to this first game in TD Garden, the fake garden up there, and you're gonna come up with all of these ways that the Knicks can defeat the reigning champions. You're gonna go to sleep tonight and convince yourself that there are ways for the. You just said for the Knicks there are you crunch the numbers, Moose. You my guy. But you said you crunched some numbers, okay, and you came up with the Knicks beating the Boston Celtics in 6. They just beat the Detroit Pistons. The Detroit Pistons had 14 wins last year. We're talking about the reigning NBA champ. I will before I get out of here tonight, I will tell you what I think about how the Knicks do not get absolutely swept and embarrassed. But let's not go to the point where we think that the Knicks can beat the Celtics in 6. What? There are no numbers that tell you that. Not Vegas, not the regular season. The math is not math in there. Let's stick to the Yankees because that's what my calls are on, and that's what we got to do. The Mets are still playing, and I give props to the Mets. And as soon as I do that, here come the the St. Louis Cardinals again. Sports brain. There are Arizona Cardinals. They play in the NFL. Tyler McGill need to hold here, get this last out. The Cardinals have put a run on the board in the bottom of the 3rd, so it is now 4-3. But going back to the Yankees, something else I wanted to add. Shout out to Ben Rice. His girlfriend went viral. She's a Harvard engineer. She made him this special wood table, and she put the video on TikTok. And I think John from MassBeth put it on Twitter. And she's doing wood shop work. She's a literal engineer. Made him a wood table out. It's the Yankee logo. Go look it up. It says Ben Rice and the Yankees. She cut out the Yankee logo with wood cutting machinery, and she painted it by hand. I'm like, where do they find these girls? Good for Ben Rice. Didn't Ben Rice go to Dartmouth? Where did he go to school? Ben Rice is he's a Dartmouth kid, so he's got him a girlfriend who's a Harvard engineer. Good for them. What a couple. She's making him a table for his birthday or something. I don't know. 888-808-1019. Jerry in the Bronx on the fan. What's up, Jerry?
What's happening, Keith? Hey, listen, after this weekend, I lost complete faith in Boone. You just take Saturday night, okay? I forgot who got on first base. I think it was Grisham. I don't remember. But Cabrera was coming up. He was batting ninth. And I know that some people say, hey, you know what? You shouldn't give up the out. But if that situation didn't call for a bunt, I don't know what called for a bunt, because then you had Bellinger coming up, I think, who doubled down the line, who got a base hit, and they were first and third after that. Okay? You got to move the runner into scoring position. Okay? And not only that, you play Bellinger first. He's batting 179, I think. Okay? And you had Goldschmidt that could have batted first. You bat him first. And they're not going to go anywhere if Clay Bellinger doesn't pick it up, Volpe doesn't pick it up, and you got Austin Wells batting 208 behind the plate. And I know he makes it up with defense, Keith. I know he does. But they got too many holes, not only in their pitching staff, but they also have a lot of holes on the field. You got to protect Judge. I mean, this guy's having an all-time season, and he's got no protection in the lineup other than Goldschmidt. There's nobody else. I mean, Grisham is starting to hit. Goldschmidt, you're going to get 300, 330. That's beautiful. But how long is that going to go? The rest of the guys on the team are all batting under 230. Unacceptable.
Thanks for the call, Jerry. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, that game they had Ben Rice batting behind Judge. He ends up going 0 for 4. And then Ben Rice is not in the game today until it's too little, too late, a day late and $1 short. I don't know. It's not great. I mean, even with that lineup, I don't know. When somebody gets going, the Yankees believe in their guys, sometimes to their own detriment. It's like Bellinger's going to lead off because like we're trying to get him going, and he did homer, but I don't need Bellinger leading off. He should be lower in the lineup until he's consistently like hitting. I mean, he hit a homer today. He just hasn't been what we were expecting. And again, spring training is over. We'll continue it. Time is flying already. It's 7:21. I got a break. So when we come back, we'll continue your calls with the Yankees. But now the Knicks have been dropped out there a little bit. I'm still talking Mets a little bit as the game is now tied 4-4. The Cardinals have come back. Tyler McGill is struggling a little bit in this bottom of the third, getting up to 56 pitches here. We'll start to open it up more in this next half of the show to the Knicks and to the Mets. And I do want to talk a little Abdul Carter and the Giants. Keep McPherson on the fan. Don't go anywhere. We're coming right back.
pitch of the inning.
36 pitches in the inning. And Burleson already homered off him, so be careful here. Shaky defense from the youngins. Boone not pinch hitting Wells for a scar in the 8th. Yeah, that's where everybody's at, you know. That move. Thank you for the shout out, Keith. One day George will be a beast for us, but this year's Yankees needs to start gelling. Yeah, George Lombard Jr. is a shortstop prospect that, like, not for nothing, could be your future shortstop or third baseman. Not trying to push Volpe out, but I'm saying, like, the kid can play shortstop or third base. Acuna makes the play, and they're out of there. McGill had almost 40 pitches in that inning. Porzingis being a sneeze away from missing time is my hope. Yeah, so that's what I want to talk about, their injuries. Bro, Knicks fans saw Jalen Brunson save their asses, and in that time from then to now have started to cook up themselves beating the Celtics in 6 games. That would mean that the Celtics only get 2 games. And okay, so hold that thought. We'll talk about it on air because that's the counter to what I like. The Celtics. The Celtics haven't been healthy. They've got bumps and bruises on all of their main guys. So we'll talk about it because it'll. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's say a lot of times I end up getting just, that like half break, like breaking at like 7:30. So closer to 20. Mm-hmm. All right. Just answering tweets and whatnot in the chat. Yeah, trade deadline is, we can't wait till the deadline. Trade deadline is too long from now. Don't have that luxury. Let's see. Rice family will have geniuses. Yeah, they're gonna have some like athletic, smart kids. Because Ben Rice is gonna get paid to hit a baseball, and his wife gonna get paid as an engineer after seeing what she could do. You know how many people probably reaching out to her to do stuff now? Belly and so numbers are comparable and will continue to be all season. One more for the road. Judge had some tough luck today, but still marching towards 300 career batting average. Yeah, and an on-base streak. And a hitting streak, I believe. The amount of people online who have tried to compare Shedeur Sanders and Deion Sanders' situation to Archie Manning and Eli Manning's situation, I'm like, I hate the internet. I hate it. We shouldn't have so many people just weighing in and comments and podcasts. I mean, like, people don't make any sense, but that's part of it, right? It's irrational. It's not the majority. It's just the loud minority. It's like just a few crazy fans and people with their takes and thoughts, and it's like it doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up, but it is what it is. 888-808-1019 as we get back to talking about the Yankees, and we're going to start to get into the Knicks conversation and the Mets. I mean, Tyler McGill threw damn near 40 pitches in the third inning, and we got a new game, folks. But it seems like the Mets they're determined in this second game of perfect timing. Stepping up to the plate with 2 on and no out. The generational Juan Soto. But anyway, with the Yankees and this, series coming up against Juan Soto's team from 2 years ago, the Padres, you lose tomorrow, that's a losing streak. And guess who's on the mound? The guy that always is going to be on the mound when you need a stopper, when you need somebody to stop the bleeding, when you need to get right, when you need a guy to set the tone. And I won't knock him and say he hasn't been, like, he's been good in his last few starts. So let's hope it continues. Let's hope Carlos Rodon continues to not be affected by the little things, overcome the small things, and have a good outing against this Padres team. It'll be Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres, and the Yankees are familiar with him from his time in Beantown with Boston. So, like, the Yankees better win this game tomorrow, and everybody better be ready to go. If Volpe can play and he's ready to go, I expect him to be in the lineup. Now, Tuesday, yo, did you see that live? So Juan Soto is up at bat, and he just hit the ball to dead center. Keith Hernandez will probably be on the call saying that one would have been out in Yankee Stadium. He hit the ball to dead center. Is this a robbery? Yes, that's a robbery. That's a clean robbery. Dirty. What a play. That's dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun, Web Jam. Sports Center, top 10. But you just that's how you play the outfield. When you always see these guys, they use their speed, they get back, because if you get back and you read the ball, it's always easier to come back in, even if you're coming back in falling, than it is to get back. Like, you get back. There's a wall that will stop your feet. There's a warning track that'll tell your feet, like, there's nowhere further to go. You get back. Yes. As soon as his feet hit that dirt in the warning track, he had his hand out for the wall, and then he found the ball. He just went up and robbed it. So yeah, Juan Soto, another almost homer, just short. Keith Hernandez, I gotta send you the audio now so that let's play it, because somebody at home is on the outside. So I'm expecting them to bounce back and win tomorrow, and Judge to hit a homer tomorrow, and Goldie to get right, and Ben Rice to be in the lineup, and all that good stuff. So yeah, I'll send you the audio. Keith Hernandez earlier, it caused a little bit of a stir, but what doesn't when it's Yankees and Mets on Twitter? Anything Yankees Mets nowadays is on fire. There's so much back and forth, as we head into this Subway Series on the 16th. But before we get to the Subway Series, I'm just letting you know the Padres series. It will be Pivetta versus Rodon, and then our boy Michael King of New York is coming through, and we will see. I just had it. Clark Schmidt come back. Hopefully Clark Schmidt is good. I'm sure those guys are friends. So Michael King versus Clark Schmidt on Tuesday, and then in the third game of the series, Wednesday, May 7th, that's where I expect to see Max Fried. It says TBD right now, but if you count the days. Okay, now it says Max Fried. Dylan Cease versus Max Fried. It'll probably be a rubber match. Probably be I don't know, MLB Network's game of the week. Alex is in Linden. Alex, what's up, man? You're on the fan.
Seen you Friday night. The vibes were good, and then that eighth inning yesterday, I really wanted Boone to just go right back to Williams and Weaver after what we saw Friday night, and I feel like he was just trying to steal out. That's the only thing I'll bang on him for, really. There, want your take on that? And I had one more thing after that as well.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is with this bullpen budget. You do have to give other guys their turn, and then you also have to preserve guys. What I was looking at is, like I said, the Padres are coming up. Maybe he tried to steal outs with Leiter Jr., but Leiter Jr.'s been good, and then he's also been bad. It seems to be 50-50 with him. I use the word the circle of trust with Leiter Jr. I'm like, he's always 1 foot in and 1 foot out of the circle of trust. So I don't know. It is what it is. But that game, to me, in my notes, and I was it was a birthday weekend, so I was doing a lot of things and watching the game. But I'm like, man, they should have taken Volpe out of the game. It took that long. It took that long of game stoppage to check him out. Take him out of the game. You got 4 other guys that can play shortstop now, and I understand them, letting him gut it out and whatever. But then that ball that he misplayed, that's the game right there. That was the difference. So,
I mean, I hope he's all right. I think him being young, that MRI being clean, we dodged a bullet. The only thing, one more point, and I'll hang up and listen, bro, and I'll probably see you maybe this week, hopefully, for a game. Yanks are going to be favored 2 of these next 3 days. And like you said, the internet's a crazy place. It is the most negative cesspool right now after today. But they're going to be favored in 2 of these 3 games against a good Padres team. The sky is not falling. It's early. I'll hang up and listen, bro. Be good.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Alex. I'll see you in 203 or wherever. Billy's, Stands, the dugout. I had another video. Shout out to my boy Schmitty, who owns the dugout. I popped into the dugout for the first time this season. They remodeled it. It's nice in the front. Not that it wasn't nice before, but now it's it looks brand new. There's some new TVs in there. And the dugout, what I always used to say is no line and no high prices. The beer, you can buy beers in there and they're not as high priced as some of the other places. So, I mean, hit the dugout and go check it out for yourself tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday. the season isn't over. The Yankees are in first place, but we just need to see action. We need to see them fix these things. We're riding along in this car, and the tire pressure light has gone off. We're riding on in this car, and the gas tank is on E. We're riding along in this car, and we can hear there's something up with the brake. Like, we need maintenance. We need some things to fix this car. It's a luxury SUV, but like there's some things up with it that we just want to see repaired. 888-808-1019. Okay, so now in this Mets game, after the Juan Soto robbery, Rami, were you able to get it's on my Twitter account? So if you just go to the quote tweet, yeah, let's cue that up before we get into the back and forth with the Mets and Yankees and how funny that is that Juan Soto just had that home run rob. So in the first game today, Juan Soto hits a ball to right field. I don't know the distance, but it's warning track power. And the legendary Keith Hernandez had this to say on the broadcast.
Needless to say, that would have been a home run in Yankee Stadium. I hate to keep saying that, but...
So don't say it. Say it would have been a homer in George M. Steinbrenner Field where the Tampa Bay Rays play. Say it would have been a homer at Camden Yards. Say it would have been a homer somewhere else. They literally have it. Remember they used to have the Where Did It Dong account? Elon. Yeah, but who's really on Blue Sky? I made the Blue Sky and I just never even actually did it. But like Elon did something where the bot that they had that could track all the home runs and then put out the information on Twitter. We all used to be on that to see, especially Yankee fans, because, if it exactly now that doesn't exist anymore, but there is somewhere to find it. There's somewhere else to find it. Either way.
Show when he hit the two opposite field home runs last week, or I guess earlier this week on Wednesday or Thursday during the day game at Citi Field, Evan's talking about how, those balls definitely are out of Yankee Stadium. No, left center is deep in Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, and depending on how the wind is there, yeah. But those I think those were no doubters. And good for Juan Soto hitting those two homers in a loss. But like the whole thing I was saying was, and this is why my quote tweet got so much attention. And just, anything I put out on Twitter, I appreciate you guys. Anything I put out on Twitter about Juan Soto or the Mets goes off. So like I'll just keep going to the well with that. Wow, another play made. Nimmo got a hold of one. Walker is there and right and makes the play. They leave 3 on. They strand 3 runners. Bases loaded. Anyway, with the Juan Soto stuff, all I said today after Keith Hernandez said that was like, yo, like Yankee fans, we watched all of Soto's at-bats last year. He wasn't a left-handed short porch merchant. It wasn't like he had a bunch of cheapies with the short porch. He just actually hit homers hitting in front of Judge. He got pitches to hit, and he did not miss them. I said, give it some more time, Keith. I'm like, this is rent-free. For all the Met fans that tell me that, like, me talking about Juan Soto and the Mets is rent-free, no, my job is to talk sports. I'm a radio host and a content creator online. My job is to do this. This is literally how I survive. This is literally how I pay my rent. The rent is high around here. Talking about Juan Soto, well, because I'm a Yankee fan, I can't talk about Juan Soto anymore. Of course I can. He was on the team last year. 888-808-1019. Gene is in Huntington, New York on the Fan. Next, what's up, Gene?
Hey, Gene, how you doing?
Good.
I'm in the car. I was listening to you talk about Soto's shot to center field, and it brought immediately to mind for the past week or 10 days or so, I've read, a couple different articles about Juan Soto's bat speed and how his bat speed is down 2 miles
yes.
per hour from prior seasons. Well, bat speed, just like club head speed in golf, is one of the most critical things to how far you hit a ball. So if he's lost a mile per hour or a half mile per hour, that's going to keep that ball in the park as opposed to getting the extra 2 or 3 feet to go out of the park. Dead center.
You are correct, sir. My friend Tone, shout out to Anthony Tone from the Bleacher Creatures. He sent me an article from Yard Barker last week. This was last Monday, so almost a week ago. Yeah. Juan Soto's bat speed decline. Yeah, so this is something that's out there and people are talking about it. His bat has slowed down 2.4 miles an hour this season.
I'm a lifetime Mets fan, and I'm not worried about Soto. 2 things that, I fall back on. if you look at Lindor's first 25 or 30 games in his first year after signing a monster contract, Soto's outperforming Lindor on his first season, his first month and a half with a monster contract, kicking around in the back of his brain. And the one thing when he was picking teams, Boris pointed out to Soto that of all the four teams that he was kind of settled in on at the end of who he's going to go with, he's matched, et cetera. Citi Field was the stadium that he had the best batting statistic.
Correct.
So, he'll be fine.
You got to give it time, and that's what I said about Keith Hernandez jokingly, and people got upset with that. Thanks for the call, Gene. It is now the second month out of 15 years. his bat speed declining. I don't think he just aged that much in the last few months, but maybe he has.
Trying to make more contact, right? We've seen guys slow their bat down. But think about Jazz Chisholm when he got hurt last week, he slows his bat down and actually makes contact, and he's still strong.
Stop swinging out of your shoes when you got to get right. It isn't a home run or bust approach. It's, hey, put the ball into play and slow down your process.
With the way Pete's been hitting behind him, there's no reason why you should be swinging out of your shoes.
Work the walk, get on base, and the way Lindor and Alonso have benefited from Juan Soto being in the lineup. Just, I don't know. It's just fun. It is. I can't hold you. It is fun to see the Met fans say that Yankee fans can't get over the X, all this stuff. And then Yankee fans with the F. Juan Soto chants. And now somebody outside of Yankee Stadium is selling F. Juan Soto shirts. I post them online and people think that I'm posting them because I'm completely joking and trolling. I wrote the caption and I said, gonna make $1,000 off this. He should probably make more than $1,000 selling those. Definitely this month leading up to the Subway Series. 888-808-1019. We'll talk a little Knicks when we come back. Keith McPherson on the Fan. BRB.
Oh, God. Good.
Yo, you can go, right?
Yeah, I'm recording a pod with Summer. She's here.
Oh.
If you want to see him and say
Yeah.
He's bouncing around somewhere. He just spoke with Frank. I saw him for like 30 minutes. It's not okay.
Frank was his guest?
Yeah, I got Frank. Oh, this is me. Yes.
Yo, so we got everybody in here. I just was making the rounds. We got Gordon Damer in here, who's coming up after me. We've got Steve Summers floating around as well. We've got Peter Schwartz doing the updates, and young guy Chris in there cutting tape. So, the night shift shifts at like 6 o'clock, and I've been in here working. Really, I've been in here since 5 something. So I didn't know who was all out, in the newsroom and working around. So Steve Summers is recording his podcast. Check that out. It's called Me Here, You There, available wherever you get your podcasts. And I believe Steve has done today some conversation around the Mets and around the Knicks. And then Gordon Damer is coming up after me, and it's his first show ever. So that's fun. I remember my first show. It was trash. I thought I was one and done. Thought I was one and done. Now 1,000 plus shows later. And now yeah, right back at it on the Fan in New York. We'll sprinkle a little go New York, go in before we get to 8 o'clock. My last hour on the Fan is flying by. Keith McPherson, your nighttime host, a little Sunday sauce, just a little bit, not too much, just a little bit to get you through. So talking about the Knicks, right? I think Moose in Jamaica called and said he crunched the numbers and he's got the Knicks winning in 6. I just don't know why we have to do that, but during the break, a couple of breaks ago, I said to Rami, I'm like, this is what happens. The Knicks barely won game 5 or game 4 in Detroit, because of the no call and however it goes. They barely won game 6. Jalen Brunson puts the cape on. But now, since we've had a few days here leading up to the second round bout with the Celtics, that we knew this was destiny. We knew this months ago. We just knew. There was no getting around it, no escaping it. It was going to be Knicks Celtics in the second round. There are Knicks fans, and good for you. That's part of being a fan. There are Knicks fans that have talked themselves into the Knicks winning 4 games and the Celtics only being able to take 2. I can't do that. I don't see that. But I'll tell you what I see happening where we might have a series. And it's something that I lean on and I've spoken on ever since I've been on the Fan, specifically with the NBA. It's all sports, but specifically with the NBA. Kawhi Leonard will be hurt. Kevin Love will be hurt. Kyrie will be hurt. KD will be hurt. Klay Thompson will be hurt. Trae Young will be hurt. Giannis will be hurt. Almost every year, we see the playoffs affected because a star player goes down, where what would have happened if said player was healthy? It alters a series. We've seen it every single season. You could go back every year. Why'd the Warriors not win it and the Raptors won it? Well, even with the Heat making their runs, if Giannis was there, was it 2 years ago? The Heat don't beat the Bucks with a healthy Giannis. They were able to do that. Klay Thompson, I already gave you a bunch of examples. The Brooklyn Nets. Harden has a hamstring. Giannis doesn't let Kyrie come down. The big 3 is just a big one with KD. They lose. They have Harden, but he's compromised. And Harden after game 7, I don't know what else. Look at just even use the example of the Knicks. Attrition. Every single season we see teams just not have their team, not have enough healthy bodies, not have the guys that they were depending on to get to the chip. Well, the Knicks are healthy right now. I don't know if this isn't even wood. Yeah, the Knicks are healthy. I think this is Evan Roberts Mets baseball bat. Count it. The Knicks are as healthy as they've really been, like at this stretch of the season. And the Celtics, to me, are a couple, one or two physical, hard-fought games away from one or two guys tweaking an injury that they've had. Drew Holiday's been battling something. Jaylen Brown's been battling something. Tatum has been battling something. Porzingis is, it could be a hangnail, and Porzingis is battling a hangnail. Al Horford is 40. Mm-hmm. Because you're gonna need that many games for there to be that many close games. The Celtics are probably gonna blow them out at least once in this series. Which they are. And the energy is heightened and the competition level is higher now. If the officials are letting them play and the Knicks just got out of a more physical series and proved, yeah, that is it, folks. 888-808. I know. I'm not counting them out. I'm just saying, don't talk yourself into now they have the upper hand, Knicks in 6. Crazier things have happened. And don't bet that. Like, if anything, you bet the opposite. You bet Knicks in 7 just in case somebody goes down. No one's betting on the Celtics to win this year. Like, you're not making any money off that. But that is what I always say. That's why Vegas exists. That's why sports gambling is legal and it's making billions of dollars around here. And that's why we have radio shows and podcasts and TV shows and we talk about this stuff nonstop because nobody knows. If everybody knew, it wouldn't be so fun to talk about. Long Beach, Mario, before we go to break, you're in there. Thank you.
Piggyback a little bit about what you and Robbie were talking about. This is the key. I think this is the key. Obviously, everybody has to play good. McHale and got to pick it up, and so does Anunoby and Cat. If there's 5 minutes in the game left, and it's a less than 5-point game, Brunson is the best player on the floor. They will win. But the point is, will it be a 5-point game? I don't know. Now, I'm not crazy. I know my basketball keys. I'm not saying they're going to win, but I don't think they're out of it. I'll listen to your response. Nice talking to you, buddy.
Thanks for the call. They're not out of it. They're very much in it. It's a series. I think tomorrow night in Boston is huge, and like, do not count out these Celtics fans. I'll say this before we go to break, and y'all know, but you got to be reminded. I know because as a Brooklyn Net fan, I had to deal with them here, and I know. I mean, I just know they're among us. Some of them are listening to this radio station right now. Dial 888-808-1019. I talked to a couple on Thursday. They live in New York. They're showing up to the Garden with a Larry Bird jersey on, a Paul Pierce jersey on. Okay. But then also when you go up there to their building, like they take that place to another level. I hate the Leprechaun Lucky, the parquet floors. I think it's trash. The fact that they refer to it as the Garden, I think it's all whack. I hate the Celtics. I'm rolling with everybody that wants to see them lose, but just understand this is what they do. They are the defending champs. They had the last parade. They think they're going back to back. Let's see. Say that again, Rami. Oh, I had my headphones down, so I didn't hear you.
Oh, I said it's hard to go back to back.
It's incredibly hard to go back to back in any sport. You need health, you need luck, and you need your competition to fold. I don't think the Knicks are folding. It is so for these Knicks that had the pressure of the Pistons and Cade Cunningham. This is a very young team, and it's their first time, and it's been X amount of years since the Pistons have won. They still haven't won a playoff game in Detroit. Like that's a lot of pressure to not lose to a team that is not supposed to beat you. Now they're punching up. Now nobody expects them to win. Good. Go out there and ball. It's basketball. Go out there and hoop. All right. Last hour of my show coming up. All aboard. 888-808-1019. KM to 9 p.m. returns right after this. Okay. So now we'll get into some of the Knicks tonight, or in this hour. I'm just trying to move away from the crying about the Yankees. It is what it is. They got another series. They lost another series. It is what it is. Checking notes. Cut this Mets game back up.
Threw as many as 81 pitches in a game with the minors this year, so he is fully primed for a true long relief outing. Alan Gore goes after another high fastball, but really strikes it out on 3 pitches. Let's leave 2 more in the 5th.
Oh, and Katie, when you said you couldn't hear the caller, that was Rami. So I just always got to keep. It's something I'm working on. Honestly, I got to get with engineering because I want to just be able to pipe in the audio, the true audio here. But I don't know if I can do that. But you couldn't hear the producer speaking. That's what that was. I usually am good about cutting my mic and putting the caller back up. But yeah, all Rami was saying was it's a series. The Knicks got to play, and anything can happen, and that's why we watch. Devious line for this series, along with everyone counting the Knicks out. I love it. Yeah, you got to love it. So it's like, if they take this first game, great. Steve Summers was always my favorite. Spent many graveyard shifts listening to Captain. So Steve is in here, and it's funny, right? Obviously, I came in after Steve stepped out and did my first shows and learned how to do this. Gordon Damer is on tonight. It's his first show. So we got some energy in here. We've got original WFAN, new age. I'm not even new anymore. This is my 4th year. More modern WFAN. And then like someone tonight that I think is a professional and probably going to have a good show. I'm rooting for him too. So yeah. I'm going to take a picture of this for the Mets pitching matchup coming up. Dugout is also right next to the stadium entrance. Yeah. It's a spot for real. All those spots are, man. All those spots are jumping. What about San Diego and Nats fields? Sure. Game 7, Warriors, Rockets thoughts? Westbrook. Oh, I'm thinking of Game 7 from the Clippers Nuggets. I don't think that the Warriors will lose to this young team. I just think they have the pedigree, the experience, and that's going to play. I have not really watched that series outside of highlights. I don't think I've seen much of it live. Cavs are on right now in a close one with the Pacers. I got the Cavs sweeping them, but they're probably not going to sweep them. I didn't pay any attention to the Kentucky Derby. All right, here we go. We just hit him. Tyler McGill just hit a guy, I believe. So we got a runner on first. Yeah, Brendan Donovan hit by pitch. Nolan Arenado up. Ugh. Okay, one more hour. Let's take as many calls as we can and talk about everything. The only thing that I had in my notes that I didn't speak on yet is Abdul Carter. I think people are just running with this, and it sucks. Like, this is the thing about the internet. People see one or two things on the internet. Now I'm hearing all this stuff about Abdul Carter is insane. He's disrespectful. How dare he? Let me just jump in here. I haven't been able to weigh in. Now, I laughed at the thought that on draft night he spoke with Micah Parsons and said, we got to have a conversation. No, there is no conversation about the number 56. He needed to have a conversation with Lawrence Taylor. Some Giants fans online told me to shut up when I said there's no way Lawrence Taylor gives him that number. You know what they said to me? Oh, he's hurting for money. You know, he sold some of his selling some of your physical memorabilia for money has nothing to do with giving away. Oh, it could be bought. Abdul Carter's how much is Abdul Carter going to buy 56? It's priceless. So Lawrence Taylor told Abdul Carter, get another number. I don't care if it's 00, which is maybe a good idea. I think didn't Paris Campbell wear 0? Who's wearing 0 now? I got to look at the roster of the numbers. But he said, I don't care. Who's wearing 0 now for the Giants? Oh, that's right. So 0 is not even available. Hey, it's tough. It is what it is. But follow me here. Lawrence Taylor said, find another number, make it famous. Okay. And Abdul Carter said, worst thing he could say was no. My stance doesn't change. LT is the GOAT. Nothing but respect. This is just going to make me work even harder. I love it. Like, okay, he's going to work to earn LT's respect. I'm sure they're going to run into each other at some point. Can't get 56. Well, then Phil Simms, who is on this station a lot, who has been in here a lot, who, shout out to Phil. I've worked with Phil. I think I told y'all the story. I was the MVP of Phil's athletic club football camp when I was 12, way back in the day. Can't even make that type of stuff up. I remember meeting Phil. We did a WFAN Dick's Sporting Goods type of thing, and I got to tell him that in person. And like, part of me winning was to meet you. I looked way different when I was 12 versus now. But anyway, Phil Simms was on a podcast, and he kind of joked about it. He said, like, well, if he's going to take 11, can he make it a little better? He's self-deprecating. But his family stepped in. He said, I haven't asked my sons or asked, whatever, his wife. His family stepped in and outvoted him and said, no, right? Because that's his family name. He made that number, like that number 11. No, you can't get the double sticks either that you wore at Penn State, Abdul Carter, but that's fine. It doesn't hurt to ask, right? He said, Abdul Carter goes on his Twitter, and I like that he's active on Twitter. He says, damn, at this point, I'm going to be out there with just my last name on my jersey, no number. JK, it's all love, just want to play football. Now, it made me think of Malik Neighbors, because Malik Neighbors wore 9 during the preseason, and he wore 8 when he was at LSU. Obviously, Daniel Jones had 8 last year. Now Javon Holland has 8. Like, all these players want the single-digit lower numbers. Those are just the swaggy numbers. But there's precedent for Abdul Carter, who's drafted in the following draft in the first round after Malik Neighbors, asking for retired numbers because they unretired a number from Malik Neighbors. They literally gave Malik Neighbors a number that had been retired for years. So we're acting like this guy is so ridiculous and arrogant, and what type of player is he going to be? A great player. Have you watched this kid play? He's the odds-on favorite to be Defensive Player of the Year. He could be dynamic for the Giants this year. What number he's going to wear, it doesn't matter. He'll pick a number and he'll make it. And you know what? They're going to sell jerseys. 888-808-1019. He's going to be good. He's from Philly. Maybe also, like him being an Eagles fan, he didn't grow. He doesn't have the built-in respect of Phil Simms and Lawrence Taylor. He's not even old enough to have even seen either one of them kind of play. So I don't know. I feel like people have run with narratives on his character and what type of player he is. Hell, the guy drafted 2 picks in front of him. Cam Ward is wearing number 1. He got the blessing of Warren Moon. Obviously, Warren Moon played for the franchise when they were the Houston Oilers. But Warren Moon gave him permission. That number is retired in that franchise. Warren Moon said, I don't care. Yeah. Number 1 overall quarterback, go be great. This is the number you've always wanted. Go be great, man. So there's what I'm saying is it's not so ridiculous as people are making it seem. Numbers have been unretired, and guys have granted permission for active players to wear their numbers. There's precedent inside the Giants organization just from last year. And in this NFL draft, a legendary player allowed a kid to come into the league that hasn't done anything yet. And he said, yeah, you can wear my number. No problem. No problem. 888-808-1019. We have talked about the Knicks, so we have some Knicks calls coming up. And obviously, I started talking about the Yankees. This Mets game, it's a good game. Holding here. 6th inning just getting started. It's 4-4. Let's get back to the phones and continue the conversation around the Yanks and around the New York Knicks. Lou is in a story on the Fan next. What's up, Lou?
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Listen, quickly on the Knicks, if Mikal Bridges and Towns they're not getting involved in the offensive game, and our best player Brunson doesn't distribute the ball to them. I mean, I remember when Bridges was on your Knicks, man, he didn't miss. He was great. Okay, so that's the only way we can beat the Celtics anyway. On our Yankees, okay, Jason Dominguez, all he knows all his life to play center field. Let me tell you what happened today, and I want to talk about the Soto almost hit a home run, and
he just hit another one to the warning track right now live if you're watching the Met game.
Playing left field and center field, I'm going to clarify this. There's 2 different positions. When you play center field, you play back, and if you got speed, you can get back to the wall. Most of the balls hit straight ahead. When you play left field, it's like a shortstop playing third base. You know, the ball is hit not only on faster, but on an angle, which even curves. It's 2 different positions. You cannot blame Jason Dominguez. Okay, it's about 2 different positions.
Sure, we can. Everybody did. The broadcast did. He broke open to the left, and then he went back to his right, and the ball was over his head. If he just went back to his right and got back to the wall, he might have been there.
In center field, straight ahead, you go back to the wall. You can always come forward with it, okay? It's 2 different positions, Keith. Okay?
Yeah, but it's May the 4th. He's been out there and he's made some plays. We've seen him make that play going back to the wall.
He's making progress, but that is not his natural position. You saw him play when he came up a couple of years ago, and he played outside in center field.
He's been working on this for months. Let's just say the last 3 months, February, April, and
play left field when he's not playing? Why can he play? I mean, Grisham, which is doing a hell of a job. He's a part of our future. They can't do. I don't know. Maybe I'm great.
Thanks for the call, Lou. Nobody's jumping all over Jason Dominguez. I want the guy to play. But like that's a ball that it was up there in the air long enough. The play could have been made. A lot of us thought that it would have been a tough play to make, but like I think it's his footwork. If he did not, like I said, if he did not open up to the left and then he got twisted around, his glasses fell off, the ball went off the wall. I just think that's a play that he could have made running and put his glove up and caught in the air. I can go back and check the catch probability, but either way, it's that's small fries. It was just one of those stupid little things in this game where it's like, here we go, right? We had forgotten about Dominguez's struggles in left field from spring training, and then that reared its ugly head. And I guess you can take up for him left field to center field. Of course, is different, but I don't know. I'll go look up the catch probability. And when I was listening, like Jeff Nelson and Michael Kay were pretty much in agreement that, like, yeah, like that ball could have and should have been caught. John is in Masbeth on the Fan. What's up, John?
Hey, what's good, man? First off, the page you're talking about, the Willet Dog, if you go to the game's StatCast page, it would show you how many ballparks it would have been a homer.
On the at-bat app?
No, if you go to just go to Google, type in MLB StatCast, and go to the game's StatCast page.
Oh.
Link on Twitter, and it would show you how many ballparks it would have been a home run. The first Soto shot would have been a home run in 13 parts, and the one that just happened would have been a home run in 7. And both of them would not have been a homer in Yankee Stadium. So Keith Hernandez can go suck it. But my point, which I wanted to call about, how would you feel, like you said, we're kind of running on empty soon. Feels like the same players have been carrying the team. Rice, Goldschmidt. We kind of need some other players to step up, like Bellinger and Wells, which hopefully they do in the month of May. But this dude, Will Warren, man, like I was kind of hopeful on him to start the season. Now I've kind of seen enough. And I kind of want to set him back down, but how would you feel about maybe giving that guy Ryan Yarborough a couple starts? He did pretty well.
Bullpen game him. Yeah, he just got the spot start for Clark Schmidt. Maybe they can do the bullpen game thing. They need options though. And this kid, Will Warren, let's not kill his confidence completely. Like, let him go back to the lab. Let him go back to work. Let him go down and work on his control and his location and get better.
Because we need some new people to step up, and the Will Warren's, hitting a little strut. Send him back down, rebuild his confidence, give Ryan Yarborough a shot. Maybe Ryan Yarborough will be a little flame for a couple starts to hold this down a little bit more until Louis Gill comes back. But it's just we need everybody to step up at certain times, and right now
there's too many guys hurt. That's all it is, John. Thanks for the call. Right now there are too many guys missing now. Now it is caught up to you completely. Like, you don't have Garrett Cole, you don't have Luis Gil, you don't have Giancarlo Stanton. Now you don't have Jazz Chisholm. Now you don't have Anthony Volpe. Like, it's caught up to you. Let's get Jonathan Loaisiga back this month. And I just know that they can't keep going this way. In my chat, they're like, oh, trade deadline. I'm like, the trade deadline is August. The trade deadline is the last day of July at 6 p.m. We just got into May. We're having these conversations. So you can't go through May, June, July. And I can't find it. I can't find it was the Taylor Walls 99.3 exit velocity. Maybe I need to give Dominguez a little bit more credit. The ball was hit hard, 30-degree launch angle. I can't find the catch probability on the catch, but during the broadcast, it didn't look good. And it seemed like most people were in agreement. Like, hey, like you would have given yourself a better shot if you got back to the wall, if you took a better route. So Dominguez is still struggling a little bit with his footwork and running down the ball and seeing the ball in left field. But like, how can I excuse that when he's been working on it February, March, April. And I know he doesn't play every day, so that kind of messes it up too. But these are the issues you have when Trent Grisham emerges and Bellinger struggles. Like this kid you thought was going to pretty much play left field every day, and then Trent Grisham would be the defensive replacement. Grisham is hitting, and Grisham is a plus defender. So Dominguez, he's just going to miss time. And then, now we have the conundrum as well with him, whether he's a switch hitter, righty, lefty. Like, he's got too many question marks in his game, but he's a young guy that they want involved. He's going to give you some good moments, but you just got to deal with the moments like today in a loss where that ball goes over his head, and we're making Taylor Walls look like a freaking all-star. And you guys know it's like they're not like that. They're not that good. We made the Rays look really good. They do come to play in the Bronx all the time, and they take the series. Matt from Rockville Center on the Fan in New York. What's up?
Hi, Keith. I just came back from the Yankee game, and I was just thinking, like, the Yankees were down 7-3, bases loaded, no one out, and a scar came up. Why wouldn't Boone pinch hit for Wells? I thought it was insane.
Yeah, Matt, that's been the question. That's been really the most people's gripe today when you have Ben Rice, when you have Austin Wells, and they said they liked the matchup with Ascara, and they really put it on Yorbit Vivas, right? And when they were, going to get him into the game, it's just it's water under the bridge now. But I think all of us were watching the game like, when are you going to Ben Rice? And then Wells comes in, so most people are like, why wasn't that the spot? It sucks because the result is he grounds into a double play, and it was like a swinging bunt. So,
and I thought that their middle infield today was like horrific. Like,
yeah,
I was right behind the dugout, and I saw Volpe was like getting ready, but like I don't know what Boone was doing there.
I think, you know what? I just think he's got too many moving parts, and in the moment, they got like Volpe. He wants to rest today, but it's just the way it's a chess game. The way that the game played out, if they needed Volpe, I thought Volpe was available. Then they said they were going to stay away from him. The game broadcast showed us Volpe was available, but Volpe shouldn't have been in the game Saturday. He said he heard something pop. The delay was minutes long, and then they let him stay in the game, and then ball will find you. So like all of these things are emotion. And yeah, when you have Oswald Peraza and Pablo Reyes as your middle infield, those guys don't play together every day. And Pablo Reyes was playing third base, and Peraza wasn't. Like Volpe is the shortstop. So it's just, it's a lot of moving parts and a lot of decisions that may be made. And it didn't work out. They did not put the pieces of the puzzle together today. They struggled.
But that's what Boone does like every time. Like Boone's not a good manager. I don't know why they would resign.
Matt Boone is probably the only manager that you can really. How old are you, bro? You've only seen Boone's era. You were probably a little young guy when Girardi was out there saying, it's not what you want.
I mean, like Girardi.
Thanks for the call, Matt. 888-808-1019. Boone doesn't get credit for the good lineups he's put together. Boone doesn't get credit for the good decisions that he's made. It's just a day like today. Aaron Boone knows, hey, they're out. They're out to get me today, and he can give his explanation. If you didn't hear it, we'll play it when we come back from the break. We have a Celtics fan on hold. I said that they live among us. I knew I would trigger a Celtics fan to call. We'll get to that Celtics fan. More on the Knicks, more on the Yankees, and maybe somebody will weigh in on Abdul Carter. Keith McPherson on the Fan for 40 more minutes. Don't go anywhere. I'm coming right back. You have Boone's explanation clipped, or you need me to send the tweet? SNY Yankee Videos has it if you want to just pull the tweet. Oh man. So we'll play that Boone audio. Let's see. Sometimes I'll pause the YouTube stream and wait for Odyssey to catch up, which is why sometimes my comments are late. That's fine, because I'm usually late getting back to them. And I'm such an audio nerd, radio major, worked at Guitar Center, DJ. Like, I need everything to be pristine. But like right now, all of this is working out of my MacBook. I think when I started the stream, I said today, I even brought in my like 4K digital camera. I set it up. I couldn't get it. I set it up in here. It was too far away. I wanted it to be closer. I'm working on better on that too. Give me a second. I'm about to go meet Steve Summers again.
I know you're on. How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you.
You know me. I've tried to bring you on. I've kept your name alive. I'll see you.
Always the best.
The legendary Steve Summers in the building, man. So gracious and like so nice to me. Even just now, just showering me with compliments from him listening to the show, and yeah, it's a ridiculous feeling, and a huge blessing to fast forward. I'll probably lean into it a little bit here, um, because like I'm very driven and competitive and motivated to like get better, and I know I've gotten better at all of this. But to hear someone like Steve, who is a literal icon in New York sports, in radio, for him to say it, it means a lot. So like, to think about where I was when I first walked in here to do my show to now, it's nuts. So I'm running out of time. What a day. We got the legendary Steve Summers in the building. Make sure you check out his podcast, Me Here, You There, wherever you download your podcast. I'm sure he's going to talk about the Rangers and the Mets, and the Knicks are still playing. So I just got to powwow with Steve. Always a pleasure when he's in the building and I can shake his hand and just, give him some love. And he gives it right back. So gracious. I was just, I was saying to Steve, I was just like, yeah, a lot has changed since my first show. And I mean, I remember my first show, and Gordon Damer's coming up after me. This will be his first show on The Fan tonight. I said I'll be sure to pump him up. So stick with us, stay with us through the night as we watch the Mets. The Mets are down 5-4 in the sixth here, end of the sixth here, and then there's hoops on, and I know we're not fans of the teams playing, but you kind of want to keep an eye on what the Pacers and Cavaliers series looks like. Like I completely was sleeping on the Pacers. They're about to take this first game, it looks like, in Cleveland. And then we've got game 7, Warriors, Rockets tonight. And then, all the conversation around our New York sports team. So, again, I remember my first show. I thought I was terrible. I thought I was one and done. I thought I was one and done. I remember hitting up Spike asking for a mulligan. I was like, that was terrible. I just overthought it so much. And it's nerve-wracking, man. It takes a lot to develop your style and also gain confidence. And like, you can't be good at this if you're not confident. And you also can't be good at this if you don't have your own style. Steve Summers has got his own style. Stay tuned. You'll get a little bit of Gordon Damer's personal style, and I'm sure he'll be a pro. He's got the voice, he's got the chops, the knowledge. I'm interested in hearing his first show tonight. So he'll be on 9 p.m. to 1. This is Keith McPherson on The Fan, taking your calls on the Yankees and the Mets. And I said with this Knicks series, it's a series. And I mean, if the Pacers are going into Cleveland and taking this series where people thought that Cleveland's the best team, Cleveland's the number 1 team, this Cleveland team, they can't be. Hey, it's the playoffs. Experience plays. The Pacers got to the Eastern Conference Finals last year and they got better. Well, let's see what happens with this first game up at the Fake Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. I don't expect the Knicks to win, but we'll know a lot by how they compete. And like I said, their fans are going to be into it. And then when we get back to the Garden, don't be surprised. There's some Boston fans among us. They're going to be in the building as well. Let's go to Robert in Manhattan on The Fan. Hello, Robert.
Hey, by the way, what is, you know what the score of the Pacers Cleveland aim is? Because I can't find
120, 112 Pacers with 24 seconds left.
Hey, maybe they'll do us a favor and knock Cleveland out. That would be nice. Now, let me put it this way. Look, I'm a tried and true Celtics fan for decades and decades. Okay, listen, I got to say this. Boston has to come out tomorrow, and they got to come out, put the pedal to the metal. Don't take any prisoners. Win the first 2 games in Boston and do it convincingly, so that the Knicks will know that they've met their match and then some. Let me point something out. To Boston, to us, the Knicks are a mere annoyance. We've got bigger fish.
You got the Boone audio?
If we're going to go up against Cleveland and OKC, it's going to be very, very, very tough.
The pinch
So
hit.
let's dispatch the Knicks as quickly as possible. We aren't Detroit, and I got to say this. I'm not a conspiracy person, but if you don't think that the NBA was relieved and a half to have Detroit knocked out and not face
Oh, of course.
Boston.
Of course. It was a cute little series to hype up because Cade Cunningham is an emerging star. Thanks for the call, Robert. But I said from the jump, and I even went back to how, like, the NBA is it's a movie playing out. It's a script and there's drama. TNT, more drama. They're on TNT. Like, they definitely played and leaned into Detroit versus everybody and the bad boys, but it was never really real. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, in my opinion, I'm like, every time I kept saying, you have the better coach, you have the better players, you have more experience. They're going to win the series. So they did, and they did it in 6, like I predicted. I don't know if we took predictions on WFA, and we should have. We used to do predictions every week on the Jets and Giants game. I know I called Knicks in 6 out, but as soon as we knew that was the matchup, I was like Knicks in 6, and that was just giving Detroit the benefit of the doubt, giving them some respect. I'm like, they're not going to get the gentleman sweep. They're not going to get swept. I think they'll get 2 games. Well, you just heard Robert with the Celtics. The Celtics want to make quick work of the Knicks. If I had to put a number on it, I would say Celtics in 5. I think the Knicks get 1 game, but ultimately it is just a different level of competition. And honestly, there are some good things that we saw from the Knicks as far as toughness and resilience, but there are also some bad things that we saw from the Knicks. And Joe Mazzulla and his crew, they are watching that film, they're studying that film, and they're going to try and exploit some of those flaws. It's not a good matchup. There's a reason why the Celtics beat the Knicks every time. And I know the Knicks weren't healthy every time, but there were different iterations of the Celtics every game. They beat them without Jaylen Brown. They beat them without Drew Holiday. They beat them without Kristaps Porzingis. They beat them convincingly, I think 3 out of the 4 times. Okay. I did say I wanted to play Aaron Boone's response. One of the first things I said on the fan tonight was like, I know it's going to be a Boone night. I accept the response. I might not agree with it. I didn't agree with it in the game. Even now, I needed a response, and that's what the manager does. The media is there to ask the questions. Let's play Aaron Boone's response on why he didn't pinch hit Austin Wells for JC Escar there or Ben Rice in that situation.
I'm choosing between Escar and Vivas there, and just going to take the guy that's been here and more experience. So I knew I had one shot with Rice there. Then once the double play happened, that kind of shut that down a little bit. But then he was the time run again there with Cabby. So no, not at that point with no outs. I was going to use him for Vivas.
So he leaned on Yorbit Vivas, but Yorbit Vivas should have been in the game, and good for Yorbit Vivas coming up clutch like he did. He also leaned on the fact that, and I guess, I don't know, you can't predict these things, but Escar is a good hitter. They like the matchup. He said he's more experienced. He just ended up grounding into a double play. So 888-808-1019. Yeah, Robbie just walked in. The lights, I'm sitting in here in the dark. The lights have gone off. It's like 8:30 comes and nobody's. Thanks. I'm on the live stream. They're like, yo, what happened? The lights just cut off in here. I guess there's a timer to shut them off. I don't know, conserve energy at 8:30.
Could be like it on a motion detector.
I'm still as water. Let's go to Jack in Rockaway, Queens on the fan. What's up, Jack?
I know, Keith, calling up to touch base about the Yankees. If you don't mind a little Shador Sanders comment. We're blessed to see as a Yankee fan to have Aaron Judge. I mean, the guy does interviews better than Jeter. It's the same as Jeter. There's no controversy, no nightlife with Jeter. The guy produces that. We're watching Joe DiMaggio, Willie Mays, in his prime. And I understand you lost all what happened, but you can't just go in there and not have a 25 home run guy beside him, a 20 home run guy beside him. There's at some point, the guy's going to be walked every single time. You can't put Jason Dominguez. Where is this guy hit? Where, besides getting the $6 million when he was a kid, where has he hit? What level of minor league ball, spring training ball, major league ball? And you can have one on the lineup. Third base, second base. This is a waste of complete waste of
Sure.
of
I said it earlier. Judge has put together a month to start the season that we've never seen. He literally is breaking baseball. He did something that we've never seen to start this season as far as his total bases, his on-base streak, his hitting streak. We can't waste this season. If this is the year that Judge really goes MVP again and maybe has it in October, they got to learn in the first month. Okay, Bellinger hasn't been what we expect. Thank God for Goldschmidt. Ben Rice has been great. He should be in the lineup every day until Stanton comes back. But yes, I'm right there with you. There are a lot of holes in this lineup, and now that there are injuries, you're seeing guys that they're not cutting it. It is tough. With Judge in the last few games, he hit a homer in Camden Yards early in the game, his first at bat to give us a lead. He did the same thing yesterday, and they lost those games. It's like when Judge gives you that early bump, he kind of spots you those runs. They got to come through.
And I heard him in an interview, and you look what the guy the work. The guy, I mean, obviously he doesn't give you any shortcuts in the most season, but he says, last year I had a bad start, so he worked extra hard to get. And that's when he had a good start last year, when his numbers would have been. We're talking about a 5-year period. There's two players in the game. There's Judge and Ohtani. It's like Jordan and LeBron.
Yeah. I'm not even putting Ohtani up there with Judge right now. Until Ohtani comes back to pitch,
The last 5 years, it's those two and that's it. Somebody else.
Yeah, face of baseball.
But if you don't mind, I'd like to touch on it. Just a Shador Sanders comment. And I'm looking at NFL, and I'm disappointed the Jets and the Giants are not that game in the later round. And I'm just like, you're trying to figure out what happened. And logically, you're looking at this guy. I'm watching the corpses of Joe Flacco, and I got to put through if Aaron Rodgers might play again. And I'm watching Geno Smith get $40 million and Cousins $45 million. And they're stuff for quarterbacks. And you have a top flight quarterback in college, and teams are passing on him. And I'm like, why would they do this? And I'm looking at the owners of the league. This is all most in professional sports. You're dealing with most people with own money. This is not this is people with, billions and billions and over many generations. And I think my gut tells me that race has something to do with this. And my gut also tells me that when Sanders, his father, was saying, he's brash, and he was saying, we're not going to go to some teams, and I'm telling them this. It reminds me of the NBA when you have restricted free agencies. I remember years ago when our GM was throwing ridiculous contracts at everybody, and they all matched. And I remember the Miami Heat owner said, "You're not going to poach Tyler Johnson." They gave him like $19 million a year, and luckily we didn't poach him, and they kept him. And Alan Crabb, because these players, when they're looking at that. These are my players, and you're not taking them. They're not.
Okay.
They're not worth the money. And then you're having the same thing when Sanders, his father's telling teams pre-draft, we're not going there. There's certain teams I'm not letting my son go to. And maybe the son came off a little bit brash. But these owners, I feel they're on the golf course together. This is the big stage when you own these teams. I think they just got together and said, we're going to show this guy that you're not going to tell us what's what. And I think race has part of the equation, the father part of the equation. But how do you test 5 rounds of what? I mean,
I'll tell you. Thanks for the call, Jack. Of course, race had something to do with it, but it's at such a small percentage and a higher level. I've spoken on this all last week. Like, Cam Ward was the first quarterback taken. He's obviously black. The league is black. Look at how many black players were drafted. It is not a black and white thing like that. It is higher level racism as far as like, okay, what Deion Sanders has been able to do going from the high school ranks to a HBCU. And also, like, that brings a lot of interest from the black community, the black dollar. And I got to be careful how I speak on this, because if you don't just come out and yell racism as a black man that talks sports, they think you're Uncle Tom. They think that you're like, no. I just lay out the facts. I don't care if it's Tim Anderson versus Josh Donaldson we're talking about, or Brian Flores versus the NFL. It isn't all just the race card. You can't just say it's racism, because there are black GMs. Andrew Berry, the GM of the Browns, is black. But like, for Shedeur Sanders to fall to the Browns in the 5th round after they already took Dylan Gabriel, it is compounded. There are a lot of things. Race at a higher level as far as Deion being an amateur coach and his son being an amateur player, and them misplaying their hand, talking as if he was an Eli Manning level talent coming into the league. He's not. He was never a 5-star recruit. The kid was going to go to Florida Atlantic. He wasn't going to Bama. He wasn't going to USC. He wasn't going to Georgia. That's why Deion got involved and said, okay, you know what? What college out there is going to take me from the high school ranks to their level? Who's going to allow me to make that jump? A struggling Jackson State University that needed the Deion Sanders injection in the transfer portal NIL era. This is like, I could talk about this for 10 hours because I am into all of this, and I played college football, and I know this type of stuff, and I am black. Follow me. Deion was only able to do what he was able to do because he's Deion, and also bring his son with him. Is Shedeur a good player? Yes, but he's not fleet of foot. He's not 6'5". He's got a little bit of a hitch and taps the ball, and a little hitch in his throwing motion and taps the ball. On film, he holds the ball too long. That doesn't necessarily translate into the NFL. So for Deion to take his son, who was never a surefire 5-star recruit, struggled at Colorado the first year. They blame everything on the offensive line. Had a better year his second year. Not for nothing, he got 4 wide receivers drafted into the NFL. When they watched the film on those kids who was throwing the ball, they acted as if this kid was Jaden Daniels coming into the league, and he's not. If you are trying to get hired, don't tell someone, don't hire me. He told his son to go there and say, if you don't want to change the culture, don't get me. You dared them to do this to you. And it hurts as a black man because I wanted to see them shine. I've watched all the Amazon Prime stuff. I follow all of them online. I wanted to see them have this moment and win. Deion was drafted 5 overall. Shedeur's dream was to be drafted higher than his dad. They killed their own dream. And if you want to bring it to the Giants, who were rumored to draft him 3rd overall, And then I was live on air when they traded back into the first round, and we thought maybe it was to get Shador, but I knew it wasn't to get Shador because the Saints had passed on him. The Steelers had passed on him. And if you want to break all those teams down, we don't have the time, but I can. Message me. A report came out from Albert Breer this weekend that Shador Sanders was pissed at the Giants during his pre-draft visit because he was called out for not being prepared. So not only are there rumors about him being off-putting and not caring about there are now reports that you were not prepared in your one-on-one interview. If you watched Hard Knocks, you saw how Brian Daboll got at a Jaden Daniels and a Drake May when it comes to that whiteboard. I played quarterback in college. I know what that stuff is like. If you don't know what the defense is supposed to do, your personnel, where guys are supposed to go, you're going to get embarrassed. You're going to get upset. And I think Shador Sanders entered that meeting, right? It said the Giants won. They give players an install, and there are mistakes intentionally put into the install. He didn't catch them and got called on it. He was pissed that they did that to him. That's what they do. They literally had Daniel Jones going against Tyrod Taylor in practice, and they were telling the defense what plays they were running, kind of giving them a wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and to see how Daniel Jones would respond to it on the field. If you can't respond to that in the room on the whiteboard, they're not drafting you at 3 overall. They're not drafting you at all. They're going to pass.
But where I push back on that is we saw last year on Hard Knocks, they made Jaden Daniels repeat back the plays to them, right? And he was able to do it. There's no way Jackson Dart was able to do that when he never called plays in college.
Well, we don't know that. We don't know that. We're going off of what Lane Kiffin's style of offense is. We don't know
John Gruden
but we don't know. So I would love to see a behind the scenes of his one-on-one. Supposedly Daboll worked him out and like that, at least in the throwing workout, right? He took the hard coaching, and we don't know. Maybe they didn't plant mistakes in the personnel, in the formations, in the play calls for Jackson Dart in that setting.
Way that a kid who never had to call a single play in the huddle in college was able to do that.
No, but you can't say there's no way. If they gave him a package to learn before the meeting, you learn the package. It's not rocket science now. It's not rocket science now. Like, no matter what, there's 11 guys on the field. No matter what, you're going to have a certain amount of running backs, tight ends, and wide receivers. We got a break. I could do a whole show on this. I could do a 5-hour KM to AM on this. It's getting super frustrating because people don't understand. They walked in, they sat at the poker table, they walked into this draft process thinking that they were going to walk away from the poker table with 40 million, 45 million. They misplayed their hand. This kid didn't work out at the combine. He didn't work out at the East-West Shrine Bowl. He lost his phone that he gave people to contact. He made so many mistakes because he was so sure of himself, because his dad was so sure of his film, and they were incorrect. And it hurts because they got humbled, man. And it hurts because there are people confused. Oh, look at his jersey sales. Yeah, that doesn't come with you on the field. I'm rooting for Shador to do well. I really am. I want to see him go out there and ball, and I think he's in an opportunity where he could be QB1. He could beat those guys out. But, man, so many people have gotten the wrong message from how all this played out. It's not just racism. There's so many levels. They fear him, the threat that he is. He made $6 million as a college kid last year. We never had that. He's got a Gatorade commercial. He's got a Delta Airlines commercial. He's got all of this stuff. You want to go to the pro level, you have to make yourself appealing. And this is the last thing I'll say about it before we break. It wasn't the whole NFL. People think the whole NFL is colluding against him like Colin Kaepernick, a 23-year-old prospect versus a 33-year-old Colin Kaepernick. Hell no. Man, these teams are competing. It's the draft. But that's the thing. They get to choose. Shador Sanders went about this as if he had scholarship offers. He was on recruiting visits and he could choose. No, you were waiting for somebody to make your dreams come true. And you kind of killed your own dream a little bit with your approach. But that's okay because you're rich and you're famous already and you're in the league now. It's on you to prove who you are and what you are on the field. And that is all that truly matters. I won't give you the number to dial because my show is going to be over. Gordon Damer's coming up. My name's Keith McPherson. I do the nighttime show here. Don't go anywhere. We're coming right back.
Oh, howdy.
Juan Soto at the plate. I had to lay out, chat. I didn't even realize all y'all was. I had a bunch of different screens up. Sometimes you forget that you're live, but I'm like, I'm so tired of talking about this Shador shit because like, I am a fan of his. I follow his podcast. I follow him online. I follow his brothers. I watch the reality show. Man, I've watched this kid's whole come up. And as a young black man that played quarterback in college and got recruited, as a young black man that is on the radio in New York City with a microphone and with a following and a bunch of people that can hear me, man, it hurt to see him get treated like that. But they made an example out of his ass because they could. They could. They could, man. And that's it hurts because, you know, I feel like black people, we celebrate our own. We want our own to win because we've been done wrong since the dawn of time. You hear me say I'm rooting for everybody black. I swear to God, I am. I know what it's like for people to form weapons against you. I know what it's like to be talented. I know what it's like to be good. And people still don't give you your just due. They don't give you your proper shine. They don't let you. They don't allow you because they don't want that. They don't want that. But that's fine. What I'm saying is they got a little bit ahead of themselves with the I'm a pull of Eli Manning. If you don't want to change the culture, don't get me. Because it wasn't a pool of 32. Think about how many teams have quarterbacks that are signed to massive contracts. You're not trying to bring in a high-profile backup like that. You're not trying to undermine Patrick Mahomes you're not going to undermine Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. I thought maybe these two teams would have the balls to do it. The Ravens, who took Lamar Jackson after everybody said he was a running back, receiver, because they don't have a backup quarterback there. I thought maybe the Ravens would do it, but he would carry such a distraction. And then I also thought that the Eagles were about to do it, and rumor has it that Howie Roseman and the Eagles were going to punch it because Shador is a good kid. They drafted Jalen Carter. Shador is a good kid, but like as soon as there were rumblings that the Eagles were going to potentially do it, that's when the Browns traded up because the Browns did enough work with him and they were going to draft him. But like it snowballs. If one team doesn't do it, the next team doesn't do it. And if one team passes, everybody starts to pass. And there is one quarterback on the field, yo. And a lot of these teams have their QB1 and QB2. And to bring in a high profile backup like that as a rookie, who all he does is throw his wrist in your face and he drives expensive cars and his dad is Deion Sanders. Yeah, maybe there's some racism there. Don't want it. At a high level, don't want it. You know? I'm talking to a live chat. Okay. I'll try and get these calls quick and then move on. I see y'all talking about the shirt hoodie, bro. I'm sending y'all the link. But I'll send you the t-shirt link. Because it's about to start it's about to start being too, that's why I'm rocking it. It's about to start being too hot for the hoodie. Hoodie link. But yeah, like I could go in on that, like for real, yo, because it hurt. It hurt me that whole weekend to be like, damn, they're doing Shador crazy. Like this ain't right. But like when you break it down, it had to happen, and it did happen, and it might have hurt Shador's pockets a little bit, but not really, man. He's already rich, bro. Like, and like the NFL profited off of it because everybody watched that draft. People were watching that draft round after round. I went live Saturday. If you check on my YouTube channel, go back to last Saturday. I was live when he got picked and we reacted to it. There was definitely a little bit of racism as far as like you're powerful, but you're powerless here. Uh-huh. Another one. This was fun. A little Sunday sauce on the fan in New York. Little nighttime vibe. I'll be here all week. I'll be here Monday through Friday. I'll probably be at the stadium twice. I think Tuesday, Wednesday, and then drive from the stadium down here, do the show. Friday, we got a little bit of an early show. So, yeah, looking forward to another good week. I have 4 minutes left and 4 calls. I don't know if I'm going to get to them. You guys try and be quick so we can get everybody on. Let's go to Steve in Rockland on the fan. Welcome back, Steve.
I was going to say some other stuff, but I'm just going to condense it. Regarding Abdul Carter, okay, as Giant fans, people should remember that on draft night when they took Thibodeau and Evan Neal in the first round, they were kind of saying the same thing about that draft that they're saying about this one. This one has a little bit of a different feel to it, but they were saying about the same thing. And everybody was fitting Evan Neal with a gold jacket on draft night, all right, among other things. So I like to take a wait and see approach, all right? And I'm sure, wasn't Thibodeau number 3 also?
I think he might have been 5. Thanks for the call, Steve. They were both top picks. Between Evan Neal and Kayvon, they were the picks that the Giants had to make for the need and for the best ranked at the position. Evan Neal, people raved about him. It just didn't pan out. What I'll say is these guys are all supremely confident, but the NFL, when they get in the NFL, it gets really real. You meet the final bosses. You meet the highest level. You're not playing against 18, 19, 20-year-olds anymore. Like now you're playing against grown-ass men. Ozzy's in Woodridge on the fan. What's up, Ozzy?
Hey, Keith, I heard your passion, so I wanted to hit you with this. And I had already spoken to Evan and Tiki about it. Coach Prime is the one, in my opinion, that failed his son as a football player. Coach Prime, all he insisted on was running a hurry-up offense with every OC that he had. He insisted on a hurry-up offense. Can Shador read a playbook? Can he understand an offensive install? Can he command the huddle?
Yeah.
I'm not so sure.
Yeah, he can, Ozzy. They brought in Pat Shurmur to run more of a pro-style offense, but some of the knocks on Shador, even Cam Ward made a joke about his completion percentage being so high from screens and checkdowns. But that's the cheat code for any quarterback. Got to complete those screens and checkdowns, got to complete the easy ones. But if you watch his games or watch his film, he had some throws downfield that's all him, evading the rush, being accurate, and he is really accurate. So I'll say this, though, it's not the whole league against Deion. There were only a handful of teams that drafted quarterbacks. Shrink that down. Who was looking for, once the first round goes, everybody after that is looking for a backup. Who is looking for the son of a Hall of Famer, high profile, millions of followers? So, that's a backup. That's a lot of reason why they passed on Colin Kaepernick. He comes with a media circus. You don't need the backup undermining your quarterback room. Go look up what Cam Newton had to say about Shador and look up what Chris Carter had to say and Damian Harris. There's enough out there about it. That's all I got. I couldn't get to all my calls. Gordon Damer's first show coming your way next. All right, yo, I got a boogie. I just want to get out of the way so he can set up and do his thing. Appreciate y'all.